find out. We'll find out. This is about why I say what I say, do what I do. Expression goes, the truth of is in the eating. We'll find out.
Да, я думаю, что для всех очевидным является тот факт, что президент Байден, когда конкретно там завтра, послезавтра, это вопрос коллеги на рабочем уровне определяться с составом этих делегаций. Не было никакой враждебности, наоборот, наша встреча происходила. Я думаю, ничего сложного не скажу. Это будет понятно, Торговые отношения, да. Еще говорили о сотрудничестве в Арктике.
This is about why I say what I say, do what I do. I did what I came to do. We'll find out. We'll find out.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
This is not a valid menu option. Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, January 4th, 2023. Of course, this is Truth Frequency Radio, and if you've never tuned in before, on every Wednesday night from 6 p.m. Pacific to 9 p.m., or if you're on the East Coast, 9 p.m. to midnight. And this is a caller-driven show. If you want to call in tonight, the number is 213-233-3998. We are streaming this on YouTube, and for all the people watching on YouTube, this is a radio program on TFRlive.com. There are short ads about every 30 minutes. I cannot control those. They are what support the network. Anyhow, going to be short and quick this evening, and then we're going to get out to the callers. Unless we're having a trouble on the call board. Or no, the calls are coming in now. Okay, if you guys do want to call in, there's 4 people in line, so call in early. You'll be sure to be heard. It's first come, first serve. When you call in, you enter the line. And you can listen through your phone if you do call in. But anyhow, big headline today, the big story. Kevin McCarthy comes up short in his Speaker of the House vote. And how many votes did he get today? He got to 201. Of course, that big fat Jesuit number in the city where the Jesuits have been there for longer than the federal government. And then also interesting is that the threshold that you have to hit is 218 votes. Remember, in Gematria, the Holy Roman Empire equals 218 and the Jesuit order equals 201. And of course, the Jesuits live through the Roman Catholic Church, which is what also carries on the tradition of the Holy Roman Empire. And in history, they say the Holy Roman Empire folded on August 6th, 1806, which was the 218th day of the year. So again, 218 votes needed to become Speaker of the House. He only got 201. And Hakeem Jeffries beat him today, who also just recently got his position by the numbers, as we covered not too long ago. Also in the news, California, Bay Area getting smashed with a bomb cyclone. Today's January 4th, 1-4. What's the word bomb equal in Gematria? 14. Bomb cyclone on January 4th. And again, they've been using this terminology now for about close to a decade. And it should raise everyone's eyebrows. What is a bomb cyclone? Because again, we do live in a nation where our military did detonate bombs high up in the sky for the better part of a half century for weather experimentation. Are we sure that our military is not being used to tamper with the weather? Maybe to persuade the minds of the masses that things need to be done by politicians, more money needs to be printed? I've seen LA's forecast this month. It looks like it's Seattle. Rainy every day, 50 degrees. It's like 10 degrees warmer than Seattle with the same weather. And again, LA's had consistently the same weather for all of our lifetimes. I know these things are too much for some people's minds to grasp, but again, look into the first act of admitted weather warfare. It was August 15th, 1952, which just happens to be the Jesuit order's birthday. That's the day they were credited in Paris, France in 1534, August 15th. But August 15th, 1952, the first act of admitted weather warfare. And then, of course, what's become the center of the universe is Damar Hamlin, who I've been joking the last couple days sounds a lot like Hamlet for the stage theater on the NFL field that people still haven't figured out. It's just one big energy suck. But at the time I've been joking about this, now we have another top headline tonight. Stars of 1968 Romeo and Juliet sue Paramount. Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare like Hamlet, theater. But they're suing Paramount over nude scenes filmed when they were minors back in 68, that infamous year. And by the way, with regards to Damar Hamlin, his name in Gematria equals 68, just like Dick Buttkiss equals 68. And the last time a player died on the field was back in 1971, October 24th, the day leaving 68 days left in the year. That was 51 years ago, and this happened in Cincinnati, which equals 51. Like Conspiracy, like Chuck Hughes, the only player to ever die on the field. We'll see what the update is tomorrow on 5/1, the 5th day of the first month. Dick Buttkiss wore the number 51. Dick Buttkiss. And again, for people who missed it, the only guy who stood while everyone kneeled at Monday Night Football, his last name was Neal. Dick Buttkiss, Neal. Again, the name jokes, the number jokes. Neal wore the number 33, the number of Monday Night Football. By the way, for all of you guys who listen through TFRlive.com, I usually go overtime on Wednesday nights. With the TFR show, I extend it. I'd go longer on the radio network, but my time slot ends. We usually go 30 minutes to an hour longer on the YouTube channel. We have a great caller who seems to call in at the end of the show, DK Stonewood. And at the end of last Wednesday's show, he asked me about Pele, and I said, well, honestly, I think Pele is probably going to kick the bucket December 29th, the date with 83 numerology, because football and murder equal 83. Sadly, that's exactly what happened, and now all eyes are on a football player, Damar Hamlin, who's born on the 83rd day of the year, which happens to be the 23rd prime number. And if you're watching ESPN when the whole thing happened on the field, ESPN put up in big print so everyone saw that everyone's leaving the field after 23 minutes to start 2023. And again, why is it even the start of 2023? Is that really the year we're in? Did time begin in the year the Gregorian calendar was created? Of course not. We're on the Catholic Church's time, which is a pagan sun cult that has everybody celebrating the birthday of the Messiah on the same day that they used to have everybody celebrate the birthday of the sun, and then Mithra, and now Jesus, the Son of God, whose name sounds like Jupiter Zeus. And of course, we'll be having the Pope's funeral on Jupiter Zeus Day, Thursday. And I'm sure Rambo's going to come on and enlighten more about that. The kneeling ritual, the Hiram Abiff tribute to number 3. Rambo's done plenty of broadcasts on this network in the past about Hiram Abiff and the 3 Ruffians. Now you got all these guys kneeling around number 3. And then the next day, on the 3rd, the Buffalo Bills player, or the Buffalo Sabres player who comes in with the number 3, scores 3 goals in the 3rd at the 3rd minute of overtime to win the game 5-4 when his name in Gematria equals 54 like Bills. Again, if you guys are new here, you really got to learn this Gematria knowledge because it will just open the doors to the things you need to see through. How scripted sports are, how scripted politics are, how scripted the news is, weather warfare. Again, I don't know a subject like Gematria that opens more doors, you know. Anyhow, Anyhow, let's get out to the callers. I do appreciate when we have new callers because, again, we have the same people who call in every week who love to get on and say their piece. And another thing that I find interesting about the TFR show is, like, again, besides TFR, I do live streams all week and take calls all week. It's like, I don't know. Wednesday night, we always have the same callers, but they seem to be the same people that never call into anything else. Maybe Wednesday night's the one night they have available. But it would just be nice if we had more of a diversity of callers, different assortment, different voices. I don't mind the veterans, though. And speaking of veterans, let's go out to George, who's first in line. What's up, George?
Hello, Zach, and Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year. Actually, as you say that, George, let me just make the point about the Pope for people who didn't get the sick joke. Again, the calendar we're on is named after the Catholic Pope Gregory the 13th. That's why it's the Gregorian calendar. And the first German Pope in forever dies at age 95 on the last day of the Catholic calendar year. Out of Germany came Martin Luther in the 95 Theses. Again, that's why Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on the 95th day of 68, that infamous year. But again, the 95 Theses is what brought about the Jesuits. So in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, who replaced the German Pope, and not only did he die at age 95 on the last day of the year, that's also the 95th day of the Jesuit order's age in terms of their recognition time with Rome. The Jesuits were recognized by Rome on September 27th, the day leaving 95 days left in the year. So on the 95th day of the order's age, the German Pope dies at 95 in the time of the first Jesuit Pope. I mean, the rituals are so clear. But what do you got on your mind, George? What's going on?
Well, this is clearly not a topic. I could talk about Kevin McCarthy, and I could talk about the Pope and so forth. However, I'd like to discuss something that's been on my hopper or in my hopper for a while. Now, I realize they're popular before your birth, but I remember an Australian/British band called the Bee Gees. They were very popular in the late 1970s with disco.
Staying Alive.
But yes, and they go back to at least the 1950s, and they had a number of hits in the 60s, like Massachusetts, the New York mining disaster of 1941, To Love Somebody, several others. But basically, they're remembered for their disco music. Now, there is one brother, there are four brothers, Andy, Morris, and Robin, and the oldest brother, Barry. Now, something you've discussed numerous times before is the high mortality rates among rappers. Well, three of the four brothers are dead. Barry, the oldest brother, is the only one who's still alive. Andy, who did not participate with the brothers, who's a solo artist, died in 1988 at the age of 30. Can you pull them up for a second?
Yeah, I can pull them up. The Bee Gees.
Yes. So Barry was born in 46. The oldest one, Andy, was 58. He died in 1988, just like around his 30th birthday. And the Morris and Robin were born in 49. Robin died in 2012. Morris died in 2003. So I don't have their dates in front of me.
So here, Maurice died on January 12th. In the majority of the world, that date's written 12/1, like 121. Blood Sacrifice 121. You can also write the date 1/12, like 112. That's a big number with the Jesuits. And you could say, well, maybe you just got Jesuit goggles on, so you're seeing everything Jesuits. Again, the Jesuits operate in 112 countries. Catholicism equals 112, but these people do pretty much around the world. What stands out to me about the death of Robin is he died on May 20th, which is also very important to the Jesuits because that is the day in history Ignatius of Loyola was shot with a cannonball, which is why their first ever Ignatian year began on that day. It's also why Billy Cannon died that day, the same day that Joe Burrow transferred to LSU and who went on to have the same career as Billy Cannon at LSU. And then last year in the NFL, he played 4 teams in the playoffs, all 4 of the teams that Billy Cannon played for. But anyway, I can look more into the Bee Gees.
Okay. Well, of course, and their manager, their impresario was Bob Stigwood. Now, as I said, I know he lived from 1934 to 2016. Now, Stigwood went to Sacred Heart College, I believe, in Adelaide, Australia. I don't know what state that's in. But so you could say, now there are never other popular disco artists between 1975 and 1980. That was basically when disco was big. But you could say that disco was a Jesuit creation.
Studio 54, Jesuit order, 54.
Well, you know, as I said, I'm a bit older. I'm 53, almost 54. And I actually remember when the Bee Gees were popular. It's just like they said they were like the 1970s version of the Beatles. And people, between that era, in mid-late 70s, people could not get it. Well, it seemed as if people could not get enough disco. But by the early 1980s, people had had enough. And I didn't realize at the time, I mean, I was just a kid, that this is all synthetic. This is not organic. You know, you have these people like Bob Stigwood who had connections to intelligence, like the CIA, MI6, who were pulling the strings for groups like the Bee Gees behind the strings, just like they had done, like Brian Epstein had done for the Beatles in the 1960s, through Tavistock. So I realize I'm throwing you a curveball, so to speak, Zach, but why do you think disco was so popular 45, 50 years ago?
Cocaine, dancing, fun things. I mean, it's just like, yeah, I mean, going out, doing drugs, drinking, dancing, hooking up with people. I mean, that's been the thing for this entire time period. It's not disco anymore. Now people go out and mostly listen to hip-hop music, hip-hop, R&B, but it's all the same thing, so.
And of course, the star of Saturday Night Fever was John Travolta, who was Irish and Italian, well, both Irish and Italian Roman Catholic, but he joined another CIA front, the Church of Scientology.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, people have said that the 1960s was one massive psyop. Well, is there any decade that you could say that was not the case?
Exactly.
Okay. And just one other thing before I sign off. I finally watched the movie 2001, A Space Odyssey, the 1968 film. And have you actually seen it before?
What is that?
Have you seen the movie 2001, A Space Odyssey?
Yeah, of course. It's about technology overtaking man. Okay,
so Hal, the bad guy, which served as sort of a prototype for Siri or Alexa, do you remember when he was created? The day he came online?
In the film? I don't remember that.
It was January the 12th, 1992.
Say it again?
January the 12th of January, 1992. So he came online roughly 9 years before the film was supposed to take place. Now, I realize he had to be created on some date, but do you have any, you just made reference to this a moment ago. So why do you think Kubrick or whoever wrote the script would actually choose that particular date?
Well, again, the Jesuits love that 112 number sequence, and they're big in the world of tech, too. Again, Jesuits operate in 112 countries. Catholicism, 112. Mathematics, 112. Again, that movie came out in 68, 2001, A Space Odyssey. The same year World Trade Center construction began. 911 made the National Emergency Dialing Code. Same year George W. Bush graduated from Yale. And it's all mathematics. 33 years later, they had their big false flag event planned for 9/11. So,
well, I mean, you could go on forever. I mean, as I said before, who was it? Paul Ehrlich wrote the book Time Bomb. I'm sorry, Population Time Bomb, which was 201 pages. Now, I don't know the release date of that book, but I'm sure the date 201 was a coincidence. I mean, it wasn't 200 pages, it wasn't 202 pages, it was 201 pages.
I see that. The population bomb. How fitting.
And of course, he's Jewish, and he was a professor at Stanford. But he also has spoken at the Vatican a couple of times, back in 2015 and 2017. So, anyhow, I realize you have other calls to get to. Well, have a good evening, Zach, and I'll take a break next week.
Okay, well, George, you don't have to take a break if you don't want to. I don't mind your calls at all. I'm just trying to encourage other people to call in. But thank you, George. You have a good night, friend.
Okay, okay.
All right.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, take care. Isn't that interesting? The population bomb in 68, 201 pages. Event 201, coronavirus coined in 68. If I ever do a second edition of Number Games, that's also going to have to get stuck in there. How about that? All right, let's go out to... all right, Michigan. What's going on, Michigan?
Hey, Zach, just listening tonight. Happy New Year.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. All right, let's go out to the youngster. What's up?
Hey, Zach, can you come back to me after 11?
Okay, I can do that.
Okay, see you then.
All right, let's go out to Fresno. 559.
Hey, Zach.
How you doing?
I'm talking about two things. One with Ken Block. You mentioned all the 42s of Ken Block, but he wore his racing number was 43, and if you write out Block, his last name, it equals 43. And
again, just so people know, Ken Block just died on his 43rd day of his age. I didn't know that about his racing number, and yeah, great catch.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And then, I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but his full name, Kenneth Paul Block, but if you just write Ken Paul Block, it's 201.
Huh. If he died January 2nd, if you write out the words January 2nd, it actually does equal 201. Interesting.
Yeah, I saw that too. And then the other night, Donovan Mitchell, when he scored 71 points, the only other person to score 70 points since the time of Kobe was Devin Booker, and he scored 71 points. Devin Booker scored 70 points on March 24th, which is DeMar Hamlin's birthday. And then Donovan Mitchell scored 71 points the day DeMar Mitchell collapsed. And then Kobe scored 81 points, and DeMar is 24 years old, and he collapsed 24 days from Kobe number 24's anniversary of death.
Yeah, good decoding. Very interesting.
And then I wanted to add a couple more 201s. I don't know if you ever realize these. But if you write out Catholic mysticism, it's 201. If you write out Freemasonic checkerboard, it's 201, which is duality, 2 in 1.
Mm-hmm.
If you write out the Freemasonic order, it's 201. Masonic politicians is 201. And Jesuitical education is 201. And Jesuitical is a word I saw a video of Hillary Clinton mentioning something like, let's not get any Jesuitical arguments. She said that on TV. But Jesuitical education is 201.
Okay. Interesting. Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's all
right. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
All right. We got about 3 minutes till the break. Usually when I go to this guy, he wants me to come back later. Let's see. 347, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready right now. I ain't got much.
Okay.
Did you see that story of 13 bisons killed by Yellowstone Park in Montana?
I did not. 13, I'm looking it up right now. 13 bisons were killed in a road accident near Yellowstone National Park. Really? How do you, I mean, those animals are huge. How do you crash? It's like 13 cars slowly moving.
They said that they crashed into the herd, but 13, those motherfuckers, bisons are big.
They're huge. They're like as big as cars. So that's like 13 cars slowly moving. You're just going to run into that? I'm having 13 of all numbers in the land of 13 stripes.
Why I brought that up? Because I was thinking about the Bills game, the Buffalo Bills. I know buffaloes are different from bisons, but it's almost the same shit.
Well, no, it matters because Yellowstone goes into Wyoming, and Josh Allen, the quarterback of the Bills, went to Wyoming for his college, and there's a town in Wyoming named Cody that's named after Buffalo Bill, whose name was Cody. And again, he was born on the 57th day of the year, like Super Bowl 57's upcoming, and Hamlin equals 57. The player who collapsed. So, yeah, I missed that story, but I'll look at it more now.
So I'm thinking it's something with the 13 and the bisons. So I'm thinking that's related to buffalo some type of way.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right about that.
All right, one more question I got to ask. Since the Skull and Bones, 322 anniversary coming up?
Not Skull and Bones. No, not Skull and Bones, but Yale. Yale will turn 322 years old this year.
I mean, Yale Skull and Bones. When is the official date?
It's sometime in October.
October. So we gonna see some George Bush rituals coming up soon, right?
Well, remember what they did on his birthday? The Georgia Guidestones came down that were put up on 322. So this year he'll turn 77. Yeah.
Because the way I'm looking at it, I think it might relate to the college basketball and the baseball season this year. I'm thinking about the Houston Cougars winning the championship in Houston since the Final Four in Houston. And I'm thinking the Texas Rangers going to surprise people this year. Either they're going to win the division or they're going to go to the World Series. You think I'm crazy for thinking about the Texas Rangers?
Yeah, you'd better be thinking about the Astros instead, because they keep doing the Skull and Bones rituals with the Astros that the Bush family is also connected to. We'll be right back, everybody. Sit tight.
Buy this bra, you'll get guys. And we're seeing it so much that we start believing these lies, but the truth is, the makeup they're selling to make you feel prettier is the same makeup you buy to stop feeling shittier about this lie they keep telling you that you are not enough. And what about the movies we watch, all the shows on TV? The more I watch, the more I see I need you to complete me. And yes, love is the answer, love is the key, but if you can't love yourself, how could you ever love me? And loving yourself, what does that even mean? Like massages and selfies and that sort of thing? Because the more I think about it, the more it feels weird. I've always been taught that self-love was something to be feared. I've been taught that arrogance is bad and vanity, it's not good. And even my bracelets are telling me to act how Jesus would. So what should I do?
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination made from garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite feeds our body with the right nutrients to keep us healthy. Just listen to what Arthur has to say.
I was just calling to tell you what a great product you have. I had used this about 10 years ago after I had congestive heart failure. And it fixed me up and got me going for the last 10 years. Lately, I've been having heart trouble again, so I placed another order because this was the only thing that ever worked. And I just wanted to let you know that you have a great product.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man, 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the truth frequency.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker, and we are joined by our great veteran caller, and he was talking about how about the time the World Series is going to roll around, Yale will be turning 322 years old, where the Bushes went, who have big connections with baseball, and for years we've been documenting the rituals they do with the Texas teams that the Bushes are connected to that pay tribute to Skull and Bones. And he was saying, how about the Rangers this year? I'm saying to him, well, if it's going to be one of those two teams, I'd go with the Astros again, because the Astros could go to 5 of the last 7 World Series. And as we know, World Series equals 57, just like when they lost to the Nationals in the World Series. I got to put him on mute real quick. I'll come back to him. But again, the reason 5 out of 7 is like 57, huge World Series number. When the Astros lost to the World Series, when they lost to the Nationals back in 2019, Nationals equals 57 like World Series. The Astros picked up their 57th all-time postseason loss in the World Series. That number seems to come up year after year at the World Series. So could we see the Astros go to 5 of 7? They just won the 118th World Series. Remember, George Herbert Walker Bush equals 118. So does ossuary, which is where the symbolism of Skull and Bones comes from. And ossuary is how the Knights Templar buried their dead. And again, Skull and Bones is a Templar order. But anyhow, let me go back out in case he had more thoughts. And once he's finished, then we will go to Rambo next. So anyway, that's my response to your thought about the Rangers.
So basically what I'm saying is, so they might not get to the World Series, but they might make the playoffs. Because ain't nobody really expecting them to make the playoffs. So at least make the playoffs. What do you think about that? I think, what year is it for the Rangers? What year is it for the Rangers? I think it's something with the year.
I got to look. I haven't done any research on the upcoming baseball season, but just since you spit it out there, my first thought is, well, if it's either the Texas teams in tribute to Bush again, and they've been paying nonstop tribute to Bush. For all the people who are new to this, they've been paying tribute year after year with Bush and Skull and Bones and 322. And for people who don't know, that's the year we picked the Nationals to play the Astros in the World Series. It was from being aware of these numbers and these rituals. The Nationals manager, Dave Martinez, had the hugest Skull and Bones ritual in his 322nd game that year. And they'd already done a bunch with the Astros, and we said that's got to be the World Series in the year after Bush's death, who was Mr. Baseball. And don't forget, the last time we pretty much you saw George H.W. Bush in public was after the Astros won the 113th World Series when he was out on the field with Verlander. But
so ain't they in their 57th year existence? It's something 57 or it's 50-something with the Texas Rangers in their year of existence, right?
I can look it up. I like I just said, I haven't done anything for the upcoming baseball season. So
okay,
the Rangers. It'll be the Rangers' 63rd season next year. Will be the Rangers' 63rd season.
63rd season.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we need, even though you said Houston, I still think we need to look at Texas soon. They might have a good year.
Major League Baseball equals 63. Major League Baseball equals 63. So.
And plus the Bushes used to own the Texas Rangers. That's why I say that.
Yep. Yep.
So it might be the Texas Rangers meet the Houston Astros for the Dawn to go to the World Series or something like that.
Again, I'll talk more about it on Patreon, but I don't see that as the ALCS. But we'll see.
Okay. All right.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
Okay.
All right. How you doing this evening, Rambo?
Yeah, how's it going?
It's going all right. How are you?
All right. Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, so the title is, my deco today is The Horse, the Trident, and the Hangman. Denver Broncos, Ronnie Hillman, and the Neptune Ritual. So, yeah, the Denver Broncos have been, over the last 2 or 3 years, they've been having a lot of former players dying. And earlier this year, they even had their stadium catch fire. So I've done a lot of work on the Denver Broncos. I've been doing a lot on them. So when I saw that they had yet another death, it was pretty easy, just because I've done so much on the Broncos, to identify what the ritual was. And it has to do with the symbol of the Bronco. So it's the horse, the trident, the hangman. That's the title of my video. So former Denver Broncos running back Ronnie Hillman passed away at age 31. That was on December 21st, 2022. And yeah, he was a member of the Super Bowl 50, winning Denver Broncos team. And that was pretty significant to this ritual. So yeah, so the events. This is scripted according to, like I pointed out, the allegories of mythology, which are used by elite, bloodlines and secret societies, those in power, to script a lot of what goes on. So a lot of what's going on, it's either the continuation of an ancient war or some ancient theme, or they're just using these allegories to script whatever happens. So yeah, so these allegories and ancient mythology are somewhat you could say a program which they're following. And so the Denver Broncos, their symbol, obviously a bronco is a horse. And the ancient symbol, the popular ancient symbol from ancient Rome. And again, this didn't start with Rome. All the gods of Rome are just Roman versions of an earlier archetype.
Rambo.
Anyway, they gave names to them.
Rambo, before you go any further, I just want, you guys, this is why I appreciate more people having the knowledge, because I just scanned through Rambo's decode real quick, and Rambo will bring up all kinds of brilliant points of things that I overlooked. But again, I just want to remind people about the more surface level thing with Ronnie Hillman's death. He died the same day the news broke of Franco Harris's death. And he was a big player in Super Bowl 50, and he died at age 31. And in Gematria, Steelers equals 31 when you run the alphabetic order forwards, and 50 when you run it in reverse, like Pittsburgh also equals 50. And Ronnie Hillman died 98 days after his birthday, or you could say he died on his 99th day of his age. The Broncos, who he played for, won the Super Bowl in 98 and 99. He wore the number 34 and died at 31. Go back and look at the Broncos box scores for the Super Bowl in 98 and 99. They won with 34 points and 31 points. And then also his name in Gematria, Ronnie Hillman, equals 72 forwards and backwards, just like how he died the day the Franco Harris news broke, who died at age 72, who was known for the Immaculate Reception in 72. And don't forget, Jesuit order equals 72, and they served the Catholic Church, and this season began on the Virgin Mary's birthday. So anyhow, Rambo's looking at this through his lens, and he's got a whole different perspective on it, which is going to be even more enlightening. So again, that's why more people need the knowledge, though, because more eyes looking at this, you just see how much deeper the ritual is than you might have thought. Okay. All right, go ahead, Rambo.
Yeah, 98 is a big part of this, too. It's, I said in the hangman, whenever you have the hangman rituals, 98 manifests, which I've done a ton of that on that. The Broncos are a horse. The horse is a symbol of Neptune. Neptune is a Roman version, I said, of an earlier archetype. The Greek version of Neptune is Poseidon. So historians and researchers, they won't always agree on what deity translates to another previous culture's deity. There's always dispute on that, but not between the least dispute. The smoothest translation is between Greece and Rome. So Neptune is Poseidon, but he could be Ptah of ancient Egypt and Enki of ancient Sumer. And that's what the Bronco symbol, and the Broncos are not the only horse symbol in the NFL. Of course, there's also the Indianapolis Colts. And I've talked about a horse symbol that they've done. And the number 1 is a key number here. In Roman, Neptune is Neptunus, which is 31. In English, Neptune also sums to 31, just as Bronco sums to 31. And this is why the Bronco, the horse symbol of Neptune, Neptunus, died at age 31. And I'll give an example of how 31 manifested in a previous Neptune ritual, which I talked about earlier. It was in 2021 when the Kentucky Derby winning horse Medina Spirit, the colt, it actually won the Kentucky Derby and then was disqualified afterwards. So this was actually a shaming ritual of Neptune, to have the horse win and then have it retracted. That was a shaming ritual of Medina Spirit, and Medina Spirit died on a Monday after a NFL Sunday, and when there were NFL rituals around the number 31 particularly, the previous day before Medina Spirit, the colt, died, involving the Colts of the NFL, the Indianapolis Colts, who defeated the Houston Texans 31-0. A very clean score here, 31-0. It wasn't, adding up the score to get 31. It was 31-0 by the horse team, the Colts. And this was a pro-Neptune ritual, this victory. And why did they pick the Texans for the Neptune symbol to win 31? Neptunus 31, Neptune 31. Because, and I quote this under sacrifices, if you look under Neptune, quote, Neptune is one of only 4 Roman gods to whom it was considered appropriate to sacrifice a bull. And the Houston Texans logo was a bull. So on this Neptune sacrifice time, you had a bull symbol, losing by that clean score, 31-0. And again, this is why Ronnie Hillman died at age 31, the Bronco, the horse symbol. The name of the Denver Broncos stadium, their sponsor, is Empowerment. And by no coincidence here, in 3 of the 4 base ciphers of English gematria, well, it's called Empower Field. Sorry, Empower Field. Empower is the name of it. So Empower and Neptune have triple overlap, including that 31. So even the stadium name and the symbol, very much Neptune. In fact, we can't see here, but I did a previous video. If you get an aerial view, there's actually, in the path, the path leading up to the stadium, there actually is a trident path made by the roads. The trident is another Neptune symbol I'll talk about. In mythology, Neptune is also said to be the founder of the mythical city of Atlantis, which some secret societies and elite bodies, they do see Atlantis as an actual historical place. Many people just see it as historical. Some actually do think it was a physical place. And the founder is said to be Neptune / Poseidon. And so, along the lines of the ritual, Ronnie Hillman, he died in Atlanta. Atlanta is named after Atlantis. And Super Bowl 50 was the Super Bowl he was in, that he won. And that Super Bowl featured 2 teams that had Neptune symbols. The planet Neptune is blue with black spots, and it's earned the moniker the black and blue. That actually refers to the planet Neptune, which those are the colors of the Carolina Panthers. So the Panthers were a Neptune symbol, They have the colors of the planet Neptune, and the Broncos were. So that was a major one. And interestingly, Ronnie Hillman's his very first career touchdown in his rookie season, 2012, was against the black and blue, the Carolina Panthers Neptune symbol. And another part of the ritual is the fact that Neptune, okay, it's Poseidon. Some may dispute this, but more than likely, most people agree that the original archetype very likely was Enki of ancient Sumer. Enki of ancient Sumer had multiple symbols. Enki of ancient Sumer's symbol was the goat as well, or a sea goat. The symbol of Enki, the sea goat, has been used for the zodiac sign of Capricorn. And the day he died, December 21st, 2022, was the first day of Capricorn, the goat, whose symbol is Enki, who is Neptune, who is symbolized by the bronco, the horse. So there's that connection there. And I just quote from Wikipedia, there appears to be a connection between traditional characterizations of Capricorn as a sea goat and the Sumerian god of wisdom and waters, as Neptune, the god of the sea, who also had the head and upper body of a goat and the lower body and tail of a fish. Later known as Ea in Akkadian Babylonian mythology, Enki was the god of intelligence, creation, crafts, magic, water, sea water, and lake water. And so again, the symbol of Enki given to Capricorn, for the Capricorn, December 21st, when he died, and Enki is Neptune. So 119 comes up. I've talked about this before. The grandest of all destruction of Neptune rituals was the World Trade Center attacks in New York City, September 11th, 2001. And just as a side note, that happened in New York City, Washington, D.C. as well, but the Neptune symbols were on the World Trade Center in New York City. If you look at the flag, the official flag of the city of New York, it does have the same colors as the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos have the same colors as New York. It's something they do have in common. The blue, white, and orange. That's actually the official flag of New York City. And if you don't have the visual, some people may not have realized this by now, but the architecture of the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center, had tridents in them. And in Gematria, and the tridents are a symbol of Poseidon, Enki, and Neptune. Poseidon has a gematria of 119, and 119 comes up in Neptune rituals. And it's seen earlier this year, on January 1st of 2022, not this year, last year, 2022, January 1st. Dan Reeves, who led the Denver Broncos as a head coach to 3 Super Bowls, he's in the Hall of Fame. He passed away. So that's, again, I think the last 2 years, there have been just multiple tragedies with the Denver Broncos, including a stadium fire, and this was one of them. The Hall of Fame coach, former coach Dan Reeves, passed away, but then the significance is his birthday with the Neptune symbolism, January 19th, 119. And I spoke earlier of the Neptune ritual when the Colt Medina Spirit died. The day before Medina Spirit died, how the Colts of the NFL won 31-0. You know, Neptune is 31, Neptune 31. And then Hillman dies at age 31. And the star of that 31-0 win by the Colts was running back Jonathan Taylor. And his birthday is 119. So 119 appears often, as it did on September 11th, 11th September. That's Poseidon's 119. And again, Poseidon symbols the horse. So it happened here again. So Ronnie Hillman's full name, Ronald Keith Ryan Hillman Jr., with Jr. abbreviated, equals 119. So yeah, that's another consistent pattern, 119 and Neptune. So that's actually, so September 11th for the Neptune destruction ritual. Neptune is Enki. The goat is a symbol of Enki, which is why on September 11th, the ultimate Neptune destruction ritual, the goat was front and center to that ritual in the form of George W. Bush reading The Pet Goat. They say I Pet Goat. The book is The Pet Goat. They were putting the goat on your consciousness, on the world's consciousness on 9/11, because the goat is a symbol of Enki, who is Neptune. And Neptune's tridents were all over the Twin Towers. In fact, the U.S. military's mission to capture Osama bin Laden was Operation Neptune Spear. That's straight from the U.S. government itself. So that's why iPet goat was there. The goat is a symbol of Enki on 9/11. The hanged man I talked earlier is part of this ritual. Tarot is a big part of esoteric that's used by the elite. And the tarot card, the hanged man, it features a person hanging upside down, has positive and negative meanings. And every planet, every zodiac sign has a tarot card that is represented. The hanged man represents the planet Neptune. So that's why in Neptune rituals, you will see the hanged man manifest. In multiple hanged man rituals that I've talked about, the number 67 manifests. Because in Gematria, hanged man comes to 67. A real quick example, at the January 6th so-called insurrection in Washington, D.C., 2021, hang Mike Pence was a big chant, supposedly. They had gallows. They literally had gallows and a noose on the grounds of the Capitol. That was a hanged man ritual, which is the hanged man 67. Mike Pence's birthday is 6/7. It's June 7th. That's just a quick example of how it manifests again. So Ronnie Hillman was the 67th. Again, the hangman card represents Neptune, so Neptune ritual. Ronnie Hillman was the 67th overall pick in the NFL draft in 2012, and that's a major hanged man number. Now, the hanged man also represents what's called a mutable cross in the zodiac. The mutable cross is made up of the mutable signs. The mutable signs are the signs that occur at the end of each season. Gemini is at the end of spring. Directly opposite Gemini Sagittarius is at the end of fall. That's one axis. Pisces is at the end of winter. Directly opposite Pisces is Virgo. That occurs at the end of summer. Those two axes form a cross known as the mutable cross. And the mutable cross is represented by the upside down cross, which is St. Peter's cross. And that's actually what the hanged man can represent. And so it involves 4 zodiac signs. And Ronnie Hillman was part of that. Ronnie Hillman was Virgo, which is also a mutable sign. So he's part of it. Just like Virgo, Virgo Maria. Virgo Maria really means Virgo Mary, Virgin Mary. When's her birthday celebrated? It's 9/8, September 8th. The mutable cross, so it's 9/8. So that is part of that too. And the Norse legend of Odin is also representing the hangman. In mythology, Odin hung upside down. He self-sacrificed on the tree of Yggdrasil in order to receive the enlightenment of the secret of the runes. So several tarot decks will actually use the image of Odin. I gave one example. There are multiple of Odin, the Norse god, for the hanged man. And he's known as Odin, god of the hanged. And in Gematria, Odin, god of the hanged, sums to 98. 98 manifests. I got other examples on the 98. I talked about Latrell Sprewell, the hanged man, hanging, choking. The former NBA player, Latrell Sprewell, at the time played for the Golden State Warriors, one of the big scandals. I think it was the biggest fine and the longest suspension for a non-drug related offense in NFL history NBA history, when he strangled his head coach P.J. Carlissimo, who went to Fordham. It's a Jesuit Fordham, St. Peter's Cross. Well, Latrell Sprewell did the choking, hanging symbol. His birthday was 9/8. And there's another former soccer player and football manager from Wales in England. His name was Gary Speed. They say he committed suicide by hanging. And his birthday was 9/8 as well. So just a quick example of how 9/8 manifests in the hanged man rituals. And Odin, god of the hanged, was 9/8. We talked about it earlier. So it is noteworthy that Ronnie Hillman died 98 days after his birthday. So yeah, these are the ritual elements that went into this particular event.
The funny synchronicity is Sweet Lady, whenever we watch a movie, she picks out the movie. She picked out a movie with Ethan Hawke last night. It's funny, the last 2 movies we watched were both Ethan Hawke, but he's a Viking king, And all throughout the movie, it keeps going to like this tree with all these dead corpses in it. So it's got to be a reference to what you're talking about right now. Odin, god of the hanged. Interesting.
It can represent self-sacrifice. The hanging on the tree. I mean, it's positive and negative, but it's self-sacrifice for the sake of enlightenment. So yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what context they were using in that movie. Also, it's 98 and also 89 and 98 as well. And then 98 is the 24th prime, so you'll see Odin is 24. The symbol of Odin is the raven. Raven is 24. Again, the 24th prime is 89, so it's 90 and 89 that manifest in these rituals. But yeah, for some reason, a lot has been happening to the Denver Broncos. It just continues. It's not stopping. I'm not sure why that is. But.
Yeah, well, I think you figured out at least part of the reason why. One other thing I would add to your decode is just that Houston 31-0 game, where they lost 31-0 to the Colts. Again, we call Houston the 31 city. Houston equals 31 in Gematria. So.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. That's a pattern to know if you take advantage of the rig sports. That number plays hard in that city. It's just like when they had that shooting a takeoff in Houston, they arrested his shooter 31 days later. A lot of 31 rituals in Houston. Did you have any thoughts on all the kneeling players around number 3, Damar Hamlin, in light of what you so often talk about with the kneeling ritual with Hiram Abiff and the 3 Ruffians?
If that was the case, then that would mean that Damar Hamlin would be Hiram Abiff, because that's when they kneel. So the kneeling is based on the Freemason ritual allegory.
Oh, Rambo, quick break. We'll be right back, everybody.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Thank you. This may be the most important speech I've ever made. Well, it's about time. It was a massive dump, and to this day everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from. Massive dump, wow, in the Senate. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Massive dump, and to this day everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from. Massive dump, wow. But I went from leading by a lot to losing by a little. We used to have what was called Election Day. Now we have election days, weeks and months. Lots of bad things happened. What can I say? Wow, it was a massive dump. Our country cannot live with this election. Right now, we're worried about the present and what went on with an election that we won without question. In Pennsylvania, large amounts of gum. All over the country, gum. Nevada and California said gum. right here in Washington. It was a massive dump, and to this day everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from. Massive dump, wow, in the Senate. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Massive dump, and to this day everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from. Massive dump, wow. But I went from leading by a lot to losing by a little. So many got ballots, they didn't even know what they were for. And again, so many received more than one ballot. In some cases, more than 2 ballots. What? If you were a Democrat, we're going to fix up your ballot, make sure it's perfect. If you were a Republican, don't even talk about it. Can you believe this? The hardest thing I have to do is dump. When they're irregular, dump. Let's go on to the next dump. It's because they know they are hiding. It was a massive dump. And to this day, everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from. Massive dump. Wow. In the Senate. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Massive dump. And to this day, everyone's trying to figure out where did it come from. Massive dump. Wow. But I went from leading by...
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
This is not condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. What if you thought?
This code has been compromised.
All right, great job to the chat over the break. It was pointed out that Hiram Abiff in Gematria equals 73, as does the word Mason, like the score of the game was 7-3 when everyone was kneeling around number 3. The only player who wasn't kneeling was Neil, number 33, huge number with Masonry. What do you make of that, Rambo? The Hiram Abiff ritual, it looks, in the Monday Night Football game in Week 17, where, of course, Mason is 17 and Masonry's 33.
Didn't they amend? Initially, they said that George Floyd, the total time it took for him from beginning to end of his killing was 8:46. They changed they've been changing the time, but was it 9:25 at one point?
I know they added on 43 more seconds from the 8:26, or the 8:46. So I believe it went to 9:29. Yeah.
Oh, 29. Okay. Well, so part of it, I looked at his Damar Hamlin's birthday. He's actually born at the vernal equinox area. He's born March 24th. That's the spring equinox, and so Hiram Abiff. He's a Freemason allegory that is based off of the ancient Egyptian legend of Osiris. Osiris is a vegetation god, but the vegetation god is related to the sun because you have more vegetation when you have, in the summer, and then you have the fall. That's what the martyrdom of Hiram Abiff is based on the murder of Osiris by Set. So the sun sets on the year at the autumnal equinox. And that happened at the time of Libra, which is why George Floyd was a Libra, because he represents the sun setting on the year, and Set is the name of the god who killed Osiris, the vegetation god. Osiris dies, he goes into the underworld, and at the equinox, which is the vernal equinox, Osiris is resurrected in the form of Horus. And the god Horus has the head of a falcon. And so I can see that's what Damar Hamlin represents. Even though they were kneeling, so he represents the body of Osiris. What they do is they kneel, the Freemasons, they'll flank one Mason who's lying on the ground on his back, and there'll be two rows on either side of him, and each one, technically it's not kneeling, because kneeling technically is on two knees. It's actually genuflecting on one knee. And eventually what happens is Hiram Abiff is resurrected in legend. And that represents the sun coming up at the spring equinox, that's when Damar Hamilton was born. He represents the sun coming back. He actually represents Horus, because Horus is the reborn Osiris at the vernal equinox. Now, the NFL did another Hiram Abiff ritual. There's a big kneeling scandal with the Minnesota Vikings in the playoff where they kneeled or they shouldn't have. And Dennis Green was the Minnesota Vikings head coach, because Osiris is green in color. He's a vegetation god. And that was against the Falcons. Horus has a falcon head. That's why the kneeling by Green against the Falcons. So yeah, the same elements have happened before in the NFL with these Freemason rituals. This one in particular, which ties into the George Floyd thing.
Since you just brought up the Vikings and kneeling, his high school, Damar Hamlin, is Central Catholic High School in Pittsburgh, and their nickname is the Vikings.
Oh wow, okay, that's a good connection. Yeah, because the Vikings, they did their kneeling Hiram Abiff ritual with Dennis Green against the Falcons. The Falcons are Horus, and Horus is, the resurrected sun at the spring equinox. That's Damar Hamilton's birthday, the spring equinox, March 24th. Yeah.
Yeah. Also interesting, his high school will turn 96 years old in 2023, and his full name equals 96, like cardiac arrest. And again, he plays for the Bills, who opened up the season the day the Queen died at age 96. And Rambo, I don't know if you caught it, but the same day that he collapsed, you had the guy with the nickname Spider in the NBA playing for the Cavaliers, like with their association with King Charles, score 71 points when Spider and Royal and Catholic all have that Gematria 71. I don't know if you saw the work, but I was showing how it was connected with Donovan Mitchell did Spider of the Cavaliers the same day you had the Battle of the Queen Cities, Buffalo and Cincinnati, and the collapse of Damar Hamlin, whose name sounds like Hamlet, like British theater. So.
Yeah, there's the Queen Cities connection, yeah, and then there's a Spider again with the Queen, yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a mixture of ritual symbols going on, but you see how they repeat these things.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure as far as it's hard to say. Also, you can identify a ritual, but to identify what the purpose of the ritual is, that's another thing where it's kind of open to speculation. Like, does it predict something? I mean, but this you can see how central this is one of the central rituals. You'll see them over and over again. This won't be the last. This is Aquila. The legend of Osiris. If you just look at the details of the legend of Osiris, and then look at around the times of the summer solstice, winter solstice, spring equinox, and the autumn equinox, that's usually when you'll see events around the Osiris legend of Egypt. That's when they use a lot.
Very interesting. Okay, that adds a little bit of context. Yeah, I guessed wrong, Rambo. I thought you were going to go to town on this, and also Donovan Mitchell, Spider, with his high of 71 points. I wouldn't mind it if you got time to look more into those things and see what you find, because it fits in with what you've been talking about all year. So. Yeah,
there's a lot going on, and also the way I do my decodes, it's so editing intensive. That's what I've been doing. I finished the video. I'm just reviewing it, doing a last review before I upload it, and I've been concentrating on that. So it's hard to follow everything.
Sure.
There's not enough time in the day.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll look more into it. Yeah, but there's just not enough time to follow.
Well, I mean, you're doing excellent work. I'm just saying, I just assumed that you were going to be all over this week. But yeah, I think you'll find some really awesome connections if you look into it a little bit more. So yeah, the stories that happened, I thought this just validates everything Rambo's been talking about with the spider. So.
Yeah, they like to. They also, I think I talked about it too. The Argentina team just won the World Cup. They have a player, Julian Alvarez, whose nickname is Araña, the Spider. It's everywhere. I mean, somebody had brought up the Carolina Panthers, how, there's a spider Charlotte from Charlotte's Web, and the city Charlotte is named after the Queen Charlotte.
Right.
And
that was another thing that happened that day. That was another thing that happened that day. LeBron had a very symbolic win in Charlotte where Kobe was drafted, and scaffolding fell off a building that day, which was a national headline. That's why I think you should look at all those headlines from January 2nd. I think you'll put a lot together.
I think, and 3 people died, right?
Something like that, yeah.
And 3 is the number 2. 3 is also related. I brought this up in my World Cup decode. This time of year, so this thing, when you look up why, because New Year used to be at the time of the vernal equinox, which made sense. The sun has returned, so the year starts at the time the sun comes back. That used to be the New Year. And anywhere you look up why was it changed to January 1st, they'll never tell you. The esoteric reason is the real reason they do things. It has to do with the fact that January 1st is when Earth is closest to the star Sirius. And the star Sirius is related to Orion's belt. It's the easiest star formation to notice in the sky. The 3 stars kind of lined up together. That's the easiest, it's the easiest stars to notice. I mean, it's hard to, very few people can recognize constellations, but you notice Orion's belt. And Orion's belt is related to Sirius, because Sirius is right below, it's this really bright star below the 3 stars. Right. And that's why you'll see the number 3 a lot, especially at this time of year, because this is the time of year that Earth is closest to Sirius, which is, so the legend of the birth of Jesus. In that legend, people say Jesus is actually the star Sirius, and the 3 wise men, or call them 3 kings. They call them 3 kings, 3 wise men, 3 magi. They represent Orion's belt. So you'll see a lot of 3 rituals around the number 3 at the time when the Earth is closest to Sirius. This is the time of year when Earth is closest to Sirius. And that's a reference to Orion's belt. The 3 stars of Orion's belt, the 3 wise men. So Damar Hamlin wore 3. So 3 people died in the scaffold collapse. When you see 3 at this time of year, which is why this is why the New Year was moved to January 1st. It was because this is when Earth is closest to Sirius.
I see. And Rambo, did you have any thoughts on the story of the University of Idaho murders, the killer being arrested in Joe Biden's hometown, Scranton, Pennsylvania, 46 days after the news story first broke, when he's number 46. And again, they said the kids were killed in building 1122, kind of like the JFK assassination date 1122, who was killed at age 46. Did you have any thoughts on that story?
No, I didn't look into that one. Like I said, I've been intensely editing my video, and I didn't look at multiple stories, but no, I didn't. I saw that he was captured. I did not decode the killer of the Idaho.
Okay, yeah, it's got the Jesuit numbers.
There's a lot to decode out there.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot to keep up with. All right, Rambo. Well, did you have any more thoughts tonight?
No, that was it. It's a lot of information to digest.
Okay, well, I always appreciate.
I was going to mention something about the 3 stars. The scorer of the penalty that won the World Cup for Argentina had a tattoo of Orion's belt on his neck. So it's 3 stars, but the middle star is slightly off. He had a tattoo on his neck of Orion's belt.
I see.
So yeah, I was going to mention that too.
I see. Very interesting.
Yep.
Well, great work as always, Rambo. Really appreciate it and look forward to the next one. And again, for everybody out there, Please subscribe to Rambo's channel. He does really great work. His channel is The Truth Codes. And again, his videos are very impressive. Again, when you hear him on my show, you're hearing him through his phone, which isn't the best connection or the best voice quality. His videos are very high quality, well edited, visually stimulating. You'll love what Rambo's putting out. I'm shocked he's not up to at least 10K subs already. I would think it would be a lot higher at this point. It could be higher than it actually shows. He's probably likely getting suppressed. Seems like anyone who shares the Gematria knowledge is buried in the algorithm. But yeah, if you're out there and you're not subscribed to Rambo's channel, you guys, you will not regret it. And he does have a Patreon as well, so please get out there and support Rambo's channel.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Of course, of course. All right, Rambo. Have a good evening.
All right. Have a good rest of the show.
Thank you. Take care. All right. Well, I think that does explain it, right? Don't you guys agree that the kneeling ritual of Hiram Abiff, only Neil is standing in about the most Masonic number there is, but then 7-3, and Hiram Abiff and Mason are both 73. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. All right, let's go out to Arizona. 480, you're on.
Hi. Howdy.
Hello.
Tempe here. I got a 201 that was made just for you when you were making the video with about the death of Benedict a few days ago.
Yeah.
And then you kept getting muted along with your little window of you in the corner was frozen. So here's the rundown. It started at 39.28. The next one 39.43. The next one 39.49. That's 3 with 39 in it. Then the next 3 are at 40.27, 40.37, and 41.07. Each of those have a 7 in the end of it. The last one's at 41.29.
Wait,
So
what are all these numbers? What are all these numbers?
The timestamp on your video. So it starts at 39.28.
I see.
The next time they mute you is 39.43. The next time is 39.49. So they got 3 of those. And then the next one is 40.27. The next is 40.37. The next one is 41.07.
Oh, okay. Let's not do this, though. This is going to drive everybody nuts. I know that stream was getting all kinds of censorship, but let's talk about something else.
Here's the clincher. It occurred over 2 minutes and 1 second.
Huh. Amazing. Yeah.
So that was for you. They sent that one out for you.
Yeah, that would make sense. So
it was tedious to look at the video and go through it, but I thought this is just too weird, so I went back over it. And oh shoot, I had a piece of paper with ideas written down. Oh shoot, George was talking about disco, and I just turned 69, and I was born in 54, and I've got a whole bunch of weird and interesting 54s in my life, but disco was really horrible. In Tempe, Arizona, on the corner of Rural and Apache Boulevard on the southeast corner, they had in the early 70s, it was called the Devil House, Disco Lounge.
Okay.
And then, of course, in the 80s, the early 80s, they had it off a rural road south of University, across the river bottom. It was the Devil House.
Interesting. In the time I was in Arizona State University, on the corner of Rural and University was always the Girls Gone Wild bus. Always parked there. I just lived at the the Arizona State campus. So.
Oh yeah, back during that time, and he was talking about disco, and I'm telling you, I'm 69. It sucked butt cheese. It was horrible. That's just what they were providing for us, with these disco lights and illuminated floors and all this crap music, the Bee Gees, etc. It was just really horrible. And then punk came about, and I started dancing to that, and I used to shred. I'm a personal dance choreographer like nobody else. I've got a muse. And then it was a good time. It was fun. But then they brought in the skinheads, and they started slam dancing and making it violent. So they killed off punk, and then it segued into new wave. And I used to go from 1981 on, or 80. I went to the Devil House in the river bottom, north of ASU. I used to shred in there for the longest time. And then I was sitting here and I was watching, turn on your show. And then the movie from 1968 came on, with Steve McQueen. And the movie was Bullitt, Bullitt.
Okay.
And that was the first biggest sort of car chase. I'm just saying, I just threw that in there. But the actual, and then in terms of the Manson murders, the LaBianca couple were the one that they talked about, but then they quickly buried it. There was an Italian couple that was a hit, and they painted in their house Helter Skelter, the LaBianca. So when Sharon Tate was allegedly killed, it requires at least 12 muscles for a human to smile. And Sharon Tate's laying on the floor, fake dead, and she's smiling. And she was also seen in Argentina later with Roman Podolansky. But the target for that, when Tate was fake killed, was Steve McQueen. They were going to take him out then. But he found some woman, and he didn't go to the Polanski place, which was in direct line sight of Lookout Hill, which is Army intel. They could directly see the Polanski property. And if you look at David McGowan and Laurel Canyon, that Army intel building on Lookout Mountain had the biggest movie studio, bigger than Los Angeles. It was all underground. And they did all the PSAs, for World War II, tight, loose lips, sink ships, and all those other PSA things. And they also created the hippie era, literally, and the whole scene. And they also created all the mini bands, many of them. They didn't even play musical instruments when their album was released. Studio musicians did it. And then they had to learn, I can't think of all the names, Three Dog Night, Linda Ronstadt, Neil Young was down there. There's a whole bunch of them.
Okay, well, friend, I really appreciate I appreciate the memory lane, but are we getting to a point, because there's a lot of people on hold, and again, on this show, I prefer when people keep their calls to about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, I had written stuff down on paper, and I've lost it. And I'm wandering around the room, so I'll let you off. I wanted to tell you about that 201 that was designed for you, where they cut you off.
Okay, well, I appreciate the eyes on that. Thank you.
You have a good night.
All right, yeah, you too. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, take care. All right, the chat's convinced that's George Undercover. Their voices are similar. I don't know if they're the same person. That'd be funny if it was. I don't think it is, though. 720, what's up, 720?
Hey, Zach, what's going on?
Another day in paradise.
Well, I went to YouTube. There's a show called Redacted. I don't know if you ever watched it, but it's January 4th. And I thought with China, with the COVID, the massive lockdowns, they said January 4th, anyone from China flies in to get in the U.S., they have to get COVID tested. And then what they did at a Christmas break, all the kids going back to school, sure enough, they have 11 states with a mask mandate for the kids to put them back on. And all these parents are freaking out. And I was like, man, this is sad, because what they're doing, to the youth, and, almost like, zombifying them and everything else. And I was like, it's like January 4th. And I was like, I remember I saw that with China. I was like, any flights coming from China, COVID testing. So I guess they're going back to the narrative once again. I think 11 states in the United States, like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, there's some of them doing this for the kids. So again, I think they're going right back to the script, back to the mask. And then, they said till Easter comes, then you can take the mask off. But unfortunately, I think that's exactly what they're going to do again to put everyone in lockdown and everything else.
In light of what you're saying, again, we know what the number was coded all over the COVID pandemic. 56, 56, 56. What number is heavily paired with 56? The number 3. When you spell out 3 as a word, it equals 56. Genesis 1:3, God makes light. Light equals 56. Abrahamic equals 56. The 3 Abrahamic religions based in Genesis. So here we are 3 years later, and it is just like deja vu. We're hearing about China's COVID crap nonstop. And, don't forget 2 years ago, Hollywood put out the movie about COVID-23, where the lockdown's super crazy. So, yeah, I'm a little bit concerned that history is going to repeat itself. And we're entering the new phase. Again, the Year of the Tiger is about to end. We know at the start of the Year of the Tiger, they ended all the mandates pretty much worldwide. Now what happens when the year of the tiger ends. And we had the big clue about the year of the tiger was significant because when COVID first started in 2020, pretty much every celebrity and their mother was coming out and posing in like a tiger jacket or a tiger t-shirt or tiger in the background. You had Samuel L. Jackson read from the book with the tiger on it. But everyone was coming out saying they had COVID with tigers. And that's, again, I wrote about this in my last book about, just wait till the year of the tiger comes around. They'll probably wind down this first phase of the agenda, but then it's going into another gear at some point. So maybe they're waiting until the year of the tiger ends to bring around round 2 for the U.S. But yeah, it is 3 years later. And January 21st will be the 3-year anniversary of them saying the first case of COVID is confirmed outside of China. And that was the one in Bill Gates' backyard in Seattle, Washington. They said it entered the country on January 15th. And again, for people who don't know, Trump signed off on his trade deal with China on January 15th, saying the world will never be the same again. And then January 21st, Trump flew to Switzerland to be at the World Economic Forum to gloat about his trade deal with China on the same day that they announced COVID's in the U.S. from China. All part of the big ritual, and that was 56 years after Trump's Jesuit education began. So, anyhow, go ahead.
Yeah, so, it's very interesting, and it's like they're recycling, right back and going back, I think, to the lockdowns. And, I thought they were going to go more to the war narrative, obviously, but they're still on that. But also, remember, 2025, they have a predicted program of a Sears virus coming, too. So that's also on the way. So obviously they're going to use the disease and viruses and everything and to try to get everyone a jab to 5 inoculations and 6 and keep going. And obviously that RNA, DNA alternates everything and the nanotech, everything in there. So they really are going to try to dehumanize everybody. And, that's really the sad part. And, it's just sad because this is the realm of death. They're going to keep promoting death. They're going to keep taking your liberties and rights. And obviously, like I think I called you before, you're in the tree of knowledge of good and evil, exposing the hell out of it and destroying, like just throwing grenades just all over the place and blowing the place up. That's why I like listening to you because you definitely got it on. But Gematria is the tip of the spear. They go to Kabbalah, you call it, I'm a Hebrew, remember, so it's the letters, the numbers, the words. But, obviously, you definitely exposed on is very, very powerful. And, keep doing what you're doing. That's the main key. You have the gift, you have the talent, and you will be rewarded, and you already have been. And, whatever happens, don't give up. Because remember, what you keep focused on masters or have balance in your life, which I believe you do.
Indeed. We're going to commercial break, friend, but I do appreciate you calling in. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Every champion has felt it. Every president has felt it. Every king has felt it. Every lion has felt it. Every winner has felt it. Every soldier has felt it. Every victorious person has felt it. The urge to quit. Don't you give up on your dream. I don't care if you don't have the money, and you don't have the help, and you don't have the family for it, and you don't have the background for it, and you don't have the friends for it. Don't you give up on your dream. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. It may take you twice as long. You may have to take courses and classes. You might not read as fast. You might not move as quick. You might not have as much, but don't you quit.
From the dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular system, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? Aya Life is a 99% pure CBD oil made with all organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, you'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to ayalife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
For millennia, mankind has been searching for answers to the big questions, such as, where did the universe come from? Where did we come from? Why are we here? Are we alone? And just what the heck is the Sasquatch all about? I can't promise you answers, and neither can the Woo Crew, but they invite you to join them Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight in the UK, for Freaky Friday, exclusively on Truth Frequency Radio. Spirituality, multiverse, quantum mechanics, the occult, and so much conspiracy analysis that it will make your mind melt. Take my word for it. Freaky Friday. It's more than a show. It's a way of life. I am Stephen Hawking, and I am proud to be a Wookiee.
We are TFR.
My faith in destiny, that is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got several people on hold. Again, we'll be taking calls for the rest of the show. The number is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. And next in line is another veteran caller. What's up, 302?
Hey, what's up, Jack? How's it going?
Going all right. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, I'm going to keep my call short and sweet. I'm not going to use a bunch of random numbers to get people confused. I just want to, all I want to do is, speak about the whole thing with the guy from the Buffalo Bills, Damar Hamlin. So on Monday, I wasn't watching TV or anything like that. I was doing some other stuff that was going to, help benefit me. And then I cut my TV on and turned to the game. And I'm like, wait, why the hell are people leaving the game for? The score is only 3-7. And then I see a caption about, Damar Hamlin injured or whatever. I'm like, oh man, the score is 7-3. Let me see his first name. Yeah, let me see his first name in sums too. So I go to the Gematria calculator, type in his first name. I'm like, wow, you've got to be fucking kidding me. This man's name sums to 37, and he stopped the game with a score of 3-7. Not only that, CPR equals 37. And when you made the video that same night, I saw number 33 setting up. I'm like, oh my gosh, what about his last name? So, the last name equals 33. And this shit is so sickening. I don't see how people can continue to be season holder tickets of any sporting event, whether it be MLB, NFL, NBA, college football, college basketball, college baseball, you name it. It's like, dude, this shit's disgusting, bro. And they're blaming it all on cardiac arrest. Everyone knows that all these players in the NFL got the booster shots and got the jab. So why aren't they blaming it on the jab or the booster shots? And the dude didn't even get tackled hard. It wasn't like it was on some Tutalova shit where the dude, got a concussion and he smacked his head or nothing like that. It was like a normal tackle. And you mean tell me that this guy literally got up and just collapsed like fucking the woman from Home Alone when she lost Kevin? Like it just looks so fake to me. It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Come on, man. Like they're out here punking people, and the NFL isn't even going to resume the game. Like there is no date to resume the game. Like all the fans just got robbed for the money.
Indeed they did, and then they sent in another $4 million to his charity apparently after getting taken by the Stage Theater. Also, an NFL death that's not really getting attention is Uche Nwaneri, who's been vocally criticizing people who are not jabbed, and then he just dropped dead at age 38. And again, they saved the news of his death for the Purdue bowl game. He played at Purdue in college, played for the Jaguars in the NFL. He's dead right at the start of 23. What's Jaguars equal in Gematria? 23. And also just dead at 38, the death number. But again, he's been very vocal. He has a YouTube channel if you guys want to check it out. Shout out to Lincoln Karam. Lincoln Karam on his YouTube channel did a nice little edited clip of this guy ranting about, you know, like what a loser Aaron Rodgers is because he's not jabbed. And anyhow, a year later, here he is.
I mean, these people who have the shots, these people who have the vaccines and the booster shots, you know, no offense to my close friends and peers, but some of these people are fucking idiots because when they get the vaccine and boosters, they feel bad, like, oh, no, I got it, man. Oh, well, I don't know, man. Or oh, the person in the store suckered me. No, the fuck they didn't. The customers in Walgreens didn't pump you into getting a shot. You pumped your own fucking self. And now, look, everybody out here is dropping dead from the booster shots and the vaccines. The people who went to the fucking Korean festival in South Korea, they all dropped dead because they had the fucking booster shots and the vaccines. Like this, I mean, like this, it's front dead centered. And I'm so glad that I never got the vaccine or the booster because I've been all over the fucking USA ever since 2020, and I have not had one symptom, not one symptom. All my food tastes like food, all my beer tastes like beer, all my drinks taste the same, food tastes the same to me. And so I mean, like this whole thing, man, is just a load of horse shit. Load of horse shit. And all the folks we talk about, oh, well, Jesus is coming back. Come on, man. Cool fairy tale, cool story. Like, you believe some man that's supposed to be invulnerable, like Superman's gonna come back and save you? Come on, man. Please. Really? Come on, man.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it as always. And also staying healthy out here, unjabbed. And yeah, not having to worry about that myocarditis. All right, man. Appreciate it.
Right. You're welcome.
All right, take care. And don't forget, I warned you before it even went out there. All you had to do was listen to what Billy Goatgate said at his 2010 TED Talk, Innovating to Zero. Let's go out to 740. What's up, 740?
What's up, Zach? How are you?
Doing all right. How are you?
Well, you was talking about the Damar Hamlin, right? Okay. There's some funny things about it, of course, naturally. Of course, it's rigged sports. Well, his name, Damar Hamlin, equals, well, of course, 94. That is the last time that the Buffalo Bills went to the Super Bowl, which has been, what, 28 years? They were last in Super Bowl 28. So if people can't see through this rigged stuff, I can't help them. I really can't. And when you see the numbers and they come up all the time, all the freaking time, you're just like, why is everybody still getting into this like it's real stuff?
I cannot answer that question. I don't know what's wrong with people to just go along with the mockery and the agendas and the rituals that take place day after day. So I don't know what's wrong with them.
Right. But and another thing, I was going to say, his last name, Hamlin, is that any indication? I mean, I'm thinking maybe the Daytona, is Denny Hamlin going to win another one? You know, doesn't he have like 2 of them? Could this be 3 perhaps?
Again, that's entirely possible, because for people who don't get it, all of these sports leagues are scripted, including NASCAR. They're all participating in the same rituals. And it's just like the day after this Buffalo ritual, then you have the hat trick, 3 goals scored by Tage Thompson with the third goal at 3 minutes into overtime as his team wins 5-4 over the Capitals, and he scores his 30th goal of the season when Hamlin equals 30. He's wearing a 3 t-shirt in tribute to him. Hamlin's number 3. And again, look at the guy's name, Tage Thompson, 54, forwards and backwards like Bills is 54, and his team wins 5-4 after coming in with the 3 t-shirt, again in tribute to number 3. And to score at 3 minutes into overtime, I mean, these things are so perfectly scripted. And it goes to show, for him to have his 30th goal on a hat trick, that means his whole season's been scripted up to this point. And again, if you have critical thinking, you're like, okay, if that's scripted and this is scripted, then that means it's all a big script. And again, it's not an accident that Hamlin sounds like Hamlet, and this is all in tribute to the Queen and to King Charles. Again, we're ruled over by stories in theater. We have a word called his story, and we go to school and we study his story. That's all a bunch of BS. Like Paul Revere rode through the night on a horse with a torch and woke up everybody to stop the redcoats. I mean, these stories don't make any sense. They make literally 0 sense. And people just go like, oh yeah, Paul Revere, I got that right on there. I circled C for Paul Revere, and I got my piece of paper, so I'm no dummy.
You're correct. You are correct on that. But another thing I was going to say about the number 9 and 8, the 9 and 8 Steelers possibly this week, because of the Virgin Mary's birth, 9-8 and the Immaculate Reception.
Now that they killed Franco Harris, they just can't lose. They're going to keep winning at the last minute like the Franco Harris Immaculate Reception.
That's right. Immaculate Reception. That's right. You got it.
And then the funny thing is, Tomlin, whenever he loses again, whenever Tomlin loses next, his next loss will just happen to be his 103rd, that symbolic number in the 103rd NFL season where Steelers equals 103. And again, Franco Harris died 103 days after the season began. And then the score at halftime as they retired his jersey after he just died out of nowhere just happened to be 10-3.
10-3.
I mean, come on. I think it was a 10-3 again at halftime this week against the Ravens, wasn't it? Wasn't it 10-3 again at halftime? I think it was.
Yeah. Yep. And I was telling people on Wednesday what was going to happen and the exact numbers. I said, they'll do this thing with the number 13 and because he was the 13th pick and all that. And I was thinking, and everybody said, well, that was a coincidence. I'm like, you all are a bunch of cement losers.
Right. Yeah. So.
It's so easy to see now. I mean, now, at first I was skeptical about it, and now I see these numbers, and I'm like, there's no way this is coincidental. This stuff is happening on a daily. I see it on a daily.
Yeah, I don't know how everybody else doesn't catch on to it too. I mean, it's astonishing. So
it's the jab. Maybe it's the jab for a lot of them now. I don't know. I did not get any of the shots. Thank God I did not. It was all funny baloney. It was a lie made up by the Jesuits, and that's my story, and that's what I'm sticking to.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate the call and the observations, and I wish more people would squeegee out their third eye because they'd be seeing the same things we are. So thank you very much.
Well, nice talking to you, Zach.
Yeah, nice talking to you too.
Going, buddy.
Appreciate it. Have a good night. And for the guy in the chat right now who's complaining about the basketball picks he missed on, maybe you should sign up for the Patreon because I don't know how anyone picked the Blazers tonight. I know you're not on my Patreon. The Minnesota Timberwolves look like the biggest lock of the day. So the guy in the chat is like, I lost on the Blazers tonight. I don't know if that's supposed to be some slide on me because I sure didn't pick the Blazers. My notes just show how heavy the game was for Minnesota. And the Suns Cavs, you shouldn't have lost on that one either. Sign up for the Patreon. I only charge $5 a month. You won't be missing on games like the T-Wolves over the Blazers tonight. Anyway. Let's go out to 562. What's up, 562? Maybe just listening tonight. All right, let's go out to 708. What's going on, 708?
What's up, Zach? Eric out here in Arizona. How you doing, man? Yeah. I know we talked today about Brady getting that 57 comeback win in the stadium out here in his 57th Super Bowl, and then of course we tied in the Tage Thompson went to high school in Ann Arbor. Of course, Brady went to Michigan.
Right.
In that in the picture, you know, the famous picture, 33 standing up, everybody else is kneeling. There's one other guy that's not shown who's laying down, and that's number 3.
Right.
Tom Brady's all-time record against the Bills.
33
and 3.
Yeah, it is.
Come on, man.
And I was making the point. I was at Buffalo earlier this year after the top shooting, and again, I've been talking about this all year, but there was only one NFL team with representation at the Buffalo top shooting memorial, and it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I was like, out of all the teams in the league, I mean, there's so many teams in this geographic region that could be here, but only the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So
right, man. I mean, I don't know. I think it's lined up. I love it. Just want to point that out.
Well, here, somebody left a good comment. Somebody left a good comment. It just happened in Croatia. Yeah. Croatia's currency just went down, and they gave the people 10 days to turn in their fiat currency to get credit for it. And if you don't, it'll be worthless. We know this. They're going to do the same thing eventually in America, and they're going to say you have to turn in all your mattress money, or it'll be worthless. They'll probably give us 10 days here too. They'll probably announce it on a Friday night, and again, because they want to get us on the digital currency. So imagine, let's just say that somehow Tom Brady has some miracle run in the playoffs. He'll probably need the Zebras to give him about 50 calls in the 3 or 4 games it would take. But just imagine that they do have the Bucks and the Bills, like dollar bills. There is something interesting. Right. Somebody left a comment about this guy, a bill, going down in the first quarter. Because like a football game, the financial quarters of the year, the first quarter's January, February, March. Could it be a Friday night breaking news? Federal Reserve or federal government announces moving to the digital currency, 10 days to turn in your banknotes or they'll have no value. I mean, you know what's going to happen like that one of these days? If it's Bucks and Bills in the Super Bowl, which would be the most ridiculous Super Bowl ever with Tom Brady getting in there after his season at age 450. Right. That could be what's coming in the near future. So
I also think too, like it's the GOAT, you know, Messi the GOAT, and then Tom Brady's 45 years old. It's 23. Jordan Moore 23 and 45. So I just think it's all just big GOAT stuff going on. And I mean, we keep pumping it every day that it's going to be that. Everybody thinks we're nuts, and I just hope it happens so that we can just laugh in everyone's face. You know, that's all.
Well, the sad thing is we've been laughing in people's faces for a lot of years, and still not enough people are hearing us laugh or seeing what we're talking about. They're still filling up these stadiums for these BS games. So,
it's a bunch of idiots, man. That's all. You know.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Got it.
All right. Have a good night.
Take care.
Take care. Oh, he hangs up fast. All right. Let's go out to Richmond, 804. What's up, 804?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm gonna keep this quick. I'm only 2 days in. I'm really new to all this. I did just have 2 quick questions, and then I kind of drop off. But my first question to me is, me being somebody who was new, who was introduced to this, who's opened his mind to this, what do you kind of prefer so that way I could get a good grip of this? Because at the moment, I see something and I just type the names in and I'm trying to follow it, but I don't kind of got a grasp of it. What would you recommend to like a first comer to kind of get some type of grasp?
Okay, so if you're just trying to understand this, I encourage reading my books, which I made free to download. And if you just read like the intro chapters of both books, you'll have a lot better understanding of why this is being done. But again, for all the new people who might be here, who come in probably, I imagine you found the work through the Damar Hamlin claps, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm. And I signed up for Patreon.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Wow, we've got people who have been here for years and never signed up for Patreon. So thank you for that. But again, what people need to understand is Kabbalah is where all this comes from. That term, the Cabal, like the secret political faction, that term comes out of Kabbalah. And there's a book out there called the Book of Formation. It's a Kabbalistic text. And the first paragraph of the book says, God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. And there's 2 halves to Kabbalah. One is just about understanding the knowledge and like understanding your connection with Creator And the belief is that when you understand this knowledge, you can see synchronicities in your life that are signs of how creators are interacting with you. So that's one half of it. But then there's something called the clip off, which is it's the dark evil half. And it's about sorcery and spell casting and having influence over other people. And no doubt that's what these psychopaths who run our government and the news media and the sports leagues who do all these numerical rituals, that's what they're really after. Having influence and control over others. So ultimately, that's why I teach the work. So people can see the way we're being manipulated. And also, the nice thing is when you learn the knowledge, you can take advantage of the rigged games. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I've been trying to follow along and read all this stuff. And yeah, I'm going to go and try to...
Here, to know where to download my books, go to my website, GematriaEffectNews. When you go there, there's a top pin post with how to buy my book, but you don't have to buy it. If you just scroll down a little bit, you'll see a picture of me on a megaphone, and just above that picture, it says download ebooks for free. Click that link, and then both of my ebooks are there to download for free. You don't have to do anything. And the first book I wrote is Letters and Numbers. The first chapter is Why is there 26 letters in the alphabetic language, or in the English alphabet? And it just kind of builds the knowledge. If you have time to read the first 100 pages of that book, it'll really build the foundation for understanding why they do this and a lot of the ins and outs. And then my latest book is Number Games, and that introductory chapter is also interesting. But yeah, I'd read the first 100 pages of Letters and Numbers on your own time scale, and you'll understand a lot more about the knowledge. And then it's a huge book. It's 800 pages. You don't have to read all of it, but you can use the search to get to the chapter on rig sports by the numbers. Again, in that chapter, I talk about Kobe's career and the number 41, and I wrote that years before he died at age 41 on the 41st day of the Pope's age while traveling from Catholic Mass. And I've always been saying the same thing. Page 29 of Letters and Numbers says it's the Jesuits and the Catholic Church running this show. And I think I've proven that a lot more clearly since I wrote that book back in 2017. So.
Gotcha. And then my last thing is, and then I'll drop down. I was just looking at the Eagles and Saints game. I just find it funny how both of their spreads is -14. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, I'll look at that. I have not decoded this week's games, but I will look at that. Those are two monster spreads in the same week to close out the year. By the way, the word end in Gematria equals 14. So the end of the year, you got 2 14 spreads. And yeah, I'll take a look at that.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Take care. Yeah, a lot of streaks in sports will go to 14 games. Let's go out to 408. What's up, 408? 408?
Hold on, let me just adjust the speaker here. Hold on. Okay, I'm ready now. Hey, Zach. So just a few points to bring up. First, I was reading first I'll say that I know that recently people have been criticizing you for making comments telling people to kill themselves.
Well, let's not say telling people, just telling losers and trolls. That's who I'm always talking to when I have those rants. And again, for all the people who are getting butthurt because a loser and a troll is editing things and taking it out of context and then putting his own thing about who I was talking to, if you're that dumb to fall for that, I'm also talking to you. So anyway, I will, just for people to know, I will never back down on this. I don't think it's a mean thing to say. I think it's a very truthful thing, and I think it's a great idea because the world is full of losers that are all dragging us to hell, and all of my trolls are definitely part of that group, and they serve the purpose of the evil cabal that I am exposing. So please, by all means, get rid of yourself. If all your life is about is trolling my channel and you're just so defeated and you're such a big loser, please get it over with. I'll be grateful, and so will everyone else who has a brain. Okay, go ahead, Evan.
All right, anyways, the point that I was going to make is that if after the Damar Hamlin situation from your tweet, if you look at the replies to your tweet, it's a bunch of people telling you to kill yourself. So
right, and they're the same trolls that are thumbsing up and encouraging the Chigozi troops of the world to slip off into the dark side. And again, I mean, one of the most mental cases in the whole community who's threatened to kill me, like people are literally afraid that he was going to come out to Oklahoma City and shoot me because he made a video. He's now spamming, or Zach's such an inconsiderate person. He's telling people, it's like, dude, These are the people that are, I mean, they're just trolls. These people that are even acting like I said anything are the biggest losers on earth. A guy who literally uploaded a video threatening that he was going to kill me in Oklahoma City, and then, of course, was a no-show. I wasn't worried about him for 5 seconds. But, again, he's the guy that's now spamming everywhere. Zach's telling people to commit. It's just like, yeah, I'm telling people like you to commit suicide. A guy who uploads videos threatening me for going out to Oklahoma City, please, a low-life loser redneck, please, get it over with. Anyway, go ahead, Evan.
And also, in regard to the college football national championship game coming up in a few days, TCU men's basketball, they will have played their 15th game of the season on Saturday, and they're also currently playing right now. But if they win today and they win on Saturday, then they'll be 14-1. And if TCU football wins on Saturday, Monday, they'll also be 14-1. So that's something to keep an eye on, is how TCU men's basketball does compared to the potential record that TCU football will finish with this year. And one last thing regarding Uche Nweri, I think is how you say his name. Before I came across Gematria, I used to watch these guys on YouTube. They're sports YouTubers called 5 Points Vids and Urinating Tree. And since I stopped watching them, they actually did frequently do live streams with Uche Nweri. And I don't know if they'd necessarily be receptive to the work, but if you wanted to reach an audience, maybe reach out to them to...
Give me that channel name one more time.
There are 2 channels. It's 5 Points Vids and Urinating Tree. And they're both sports YouTubers. I don't know if they'd be receptive to the work, as I said, but they did a lot of live streams with the Jaguars guy who just passed away.
Okay. Is it 5 Point Vids? Oh, I see it.
Yeah, FIVEPOINTS.
Okay, I found them both. Yeah, they both got a big subscriber count. Unlike, I'm surprised that football player only had like 20,000 subs. So, all right.
Well, I'll let the next guy get on. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, appreciate it, Evan. Have a good night. Okay, let's go out to Old Rochester, 585. Actually, hold on. My bad, 585. It's about to be a commercial break. We'll come back. We've got an hour show left, you guys. We'll be taking calls the rest of the way.
Hello there.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
We can't allow bad things to happen to our country, and bad things are happening to us, perhaps like never before. You'll be seeing what goes on, and perhaps like never before. We are looked upon as not very smart. We are looked upon as not very smart. Oh, shit. We failed. Shit. We failed. They may allow me back. So I walk gingerly. That ramp was long and steep. I said, General, I might have to grab you by the pussy. They made that a big story, but they didn't make a Viking fall. The triple fall, the triple fall. I wasn't gonna fall. Dr. Fauci, who I actually got along with, he's a great promoter. Not a great doctor, but he's a hell of a promoter. Fauci said powerfully at the beginning, no masks. Then he went into masks, and then he became a rebel master. Look at the world. Look at what happened to the world. And look at the world. It's not just us. It's the world. We are looked upon as not very smart. Oh, we are looked upon as not very smart. Oh, shit. We fail. Shit. We fail. They may allow me back. They may allow me back. Zuckerberg walked into the office in front of those people. Congratulations, everyone. You're number one on Facebook. The day I was out, he became rather, well, I guess it's human nature. To let our country be run by that kind of human nature. They may edit that out. They don't want to have that. They don't like that. They may have to edit that out. The Biden administration seems to be putting America last. There's nobody like us. Nobody has the people that we have. Nobody has the genius that we have. Look at the world. Look at what happened to the world. And look at the world. It's not just us. It's the world. We are looked upon as not very smart. Oh, we are looked upon as not very smart. Oh, shit. We fail. Shit. We fail. They may allow me back. They may allow me back.
Into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
You have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. And just to let you know where you are in line, 585-646-401, 314-559, 312-919, 267-734, 407-424-586-603-727. That's the line right now. We will get through all those calls. Again, if you guys can keep your point to about 2 minutes or less, we'll get through all that and more. And you're up first, 585.
Hey, Zach, it's Michael.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Hey, how's it going? I just wanted to, we were talking about Yale, and, you know, it's going to be, or what is it, going to be 322 years old, Yale University.
Right.
I do believe.
Indeed.
Well, I'm not sure if the date has any significance, but their birthday is October 9th. Is there any connection to October 9th? As far as, because that's their birthday, I guess.
That's the day leaving 83 days left in the year. Brotherhood of Death, the nickname for Skull and Bones, is 83. Of course, that's the murder number. So yeah, we'll have to start looking at that anniversary. October 9th, Yale turns 322.
That's kind of funny because that happens to be my birthday too. So I'm just like, well, that's kind of weird.
Interesting.
But yeah. I didn't know if they, you know, the birthday had any, or the date had any significance, or that's why I was calling.
Yeah, I'll have to think more about it, but it's the day leaving 83 days left in the year. I know that much.
Okay, Zach. Well, thanks for taking my call.
All right. Take care, Michael.
You too, Zach.
All right. Let's go out to 646, New York.
Hi, Zach. Can you hear me?
I can.
Hi, how are you? New York City dialing in. So there was a couple of things I took notice of ever since Monday when you covered what happened on Monday Night Football. I'm looking at the picture you have on your screen now, and I don't know if you noticed like the three sixes in the background. It's actually 3 9s, and I thought that was so wild because I'm like, oh, okay, so they couldn't get more blatant with this one. So if you kind of zoom in, I assume those are the Bengals.
It's a Joe Burrow jersey. It's Joe Burrow's jersey. So yeah,
Yeah. Ah, burn the winter. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I just saw that. I was like, oh, okay, like wow. So I think you discussed many times the relationship between 6s and 9s. But yeah, I saw that when you were discussing what was going on with Monday Night Football, like when it happened, and I was like, oh my God, are those like 3 inverted 6s, 3 9s? I was like, you can't make this mess up at all. And then another thing I wanted to go through real quick. Did you ever check out the flag for Buffalo, the city, their municipal flag? I thought, I don't know if you ever mentioned this, but their flag actually has not only 13 stars, but 13 lightning bolts. And I thought that was like really crazy. When you look at that, I'm like, lightning bolts, I don't know any U.S. flag that has lightning bolts on it, like any state or city flag. I mean, I haven't even looked at it, but I just thought, I was looking at Buffalo, and I know you went into great detail about the lightning bolt before and the symbology behind that. So I was like, oh, okay, another layer to add to the mystery of Buffalo.
Yeah, I was not aware of their flag. That is really interesting. So I'll have to think more about that one.
Yeah, there's definitely like a hidden layer and it's always like this racial thing going on with Buffalo lately. I did see like with the shooting, the supermarket shooting, and then you have this what's going on with Damar Hamlin, and then you had OJ. He was a quarterback for the Buffalo. So
Running back.
Just like, okay, what's going on with all this? Like, it's like Buffalo, black people, death, and I'm like, okay, what's this setting the stage for? Because they're always setting the stage for something down the line. And 2 more things real quick, and I'm off and let other people come on. So another thing that was brought to my attention was the baseball game on July 17th between Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees. That score was 2-13, and I kind of rearranged the numbers a bit, and they're actually area codes for all, like the major cities
in
the U.S.,
LA.
like LA, Chicago, Orlando, Michigan, and that was just really weird. And there's a connect with the 231 area code and 616, which is actually mentioned in Marvel. 616 being like the worst universe to be in. And then finally, you were talking about the Chinese New Year, and it's the year of the rabbit. I don't know if you're aware of this, but the rabbit is actually like a lunar animal in Chinese or Asian culture. Because, like, you know, in the West, we say, oh, there's the face of a man in the moon.
Right.
In Asian culture, they don't see a man's face; they see like a rabbit. And my favorite anime back in the day, Sailor Moon, the main character, her Japanese name is actually Usagi Tsukino, and that just means rabbit in the moon. So that might actually play into like the whole Super Bowl thing, because I think the Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year, actually starts in a couple of weeks.
Moon equals 57.
In February.
Moon equals 57. Super Bowl 57. In the year of the tiger, once it started, you had the Bengal Tigers in there. So yeah, I'm going to have to look into that. It's a great thought. I got to let more people in, though, or we'll run out of show. But thank you so much for all the observations.
Oh, yeah, I'm done.
All right.
Done. Yeah, no problem. Take care.
You have a good night. Thank you. All right, let's go out to Rhode Island, 401. You're on. New York calling in, or more like the Northeast. What's up, Rhode Island?
What's up, bitch? Fake Mike Real News in the house.
Oh, wow. Fake Mike Real News' first ever TFR call. What's up, man?
Chilling, man. Yeah, I've got a problem, man. I'm a little upset that, the Matrix been stealing all of our shine. He's out here saving people's lives in Buffalo, resurrecting people from the dead, looking like a light-skinned Eric Benet, and it's kind of concerning. I'm thinking he's, like, infiltrating.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Indeed.
In all seriousness, I would like to invite you, with a caveat, to a rally.
Okay, when and where? When and where?
All right, it's a very important day. It's 4/7. The reason it's important, it's not only the opposite of 7/4, which is the founding of our nation, but most importantly, it's my birthday, and it's going to be outside of the Federal Reserve, legally and lawfully, and we're going to be protesting peacefully. And I was wondering if I could extend the olive branch to you, and if you guys can be all people, man, I'd love to get the gang back together. April 7th, Federal Reserve, Cherry Blossoms, Washington, D.C., #GetRightTheMatrix.
That's the perfect day to gather in D.C. 4/7, and I won't forget that that's your birthday now. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. I cannot commit tonight, but I'm gonna.
That's what you said.
I like it a lot, so I'm glad you planted the seed, and I will get back to you ASAP on that. So.
All right. Well, 4/7, I'm calling all the truth seekers out. Non-violently, we're gonna have a party outside of the Federal Reserve. We're gonna own all those stooges. It's the bankers that are really running all this shit. I mean, we can argue who's running shit, but the bankers are definitely up there. And it's time to non-violently take our country back, take this world back. And I'm looking forward to seeing Zach out there and all the truth seekers. And everyone go check out TheMatrix, my boy TheMatrix on all platforms. #TheMatrix. Type him in the YouTube function and just search up TheMatrix. Subscribe to all of his channels for some juicy extra-ish.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, happy early birthday. And I'm gonna work hard to make that happen. I like that idea a lot. And I did not get to finish my trip when I was back east anyway. I was supposed to go down to DC next, so April 7th would be a great day to do it.
All right, Zach. Take care, brother. Hopefully you can get all these fools out here.
All right. All right. I'm gonna promote that event. I want to be there. If I cannot make it, I will still promote the event in a big way. All right, let's go out to St. Louis. 314. What's up, 314? St. Louis. They might have fallen asleep. They've been on hold for a minute. All right, 314. Well, thank you for tuning in. Let's go out to 559. 559, what's up?
Yo, what's up, Zach?
Thanks for calling in.
Oh, shit, can't hear you. Oh, what's up, man? Hey, are you gonna come to LA?
You know, I have not decided. I do want to be down at LA for the Kobe anniversary, but then I was looking at how bad the weather's been in this month. I'm like, God, it's terrible weather, man. Because if I don't come down this month, I'm definitely coming down for Kobe Bryant Day in the summer. But yeah, again, I'm being kind of stubborn because I do want to do it, but I'm also mad about how much support went down last year after traveling all over the country. I feel like the more I travel, the more support and more people I have turn against me. So I'm like, I don't know if pound and pavement's the right way to move this movement forward because right now it's moving backwards. So I'll end up making the decision, but I do definitely want to be there. And are you down in the LA area?
Yeah, I live right here in Fresno.
What is going on with the weather?
Right? No, it's not that bad, actually.
I was looking at the 2-week forecast. It was like in the 50s and raining. I was like, that's not LA. What is going on?
Yeah, raining all week and shit. But no, well, actually from a little town called Parlier, but you know, if you come down here, shit, I'll give you a ride, man.
I appreciate that. I'll let everybody know real soon because I got to make the announcement soon so other people can plan to come out. But yeah, I appreciate the encouragement.
I'll get a day off or two, and I'll fucking go with you, man. I think it's time to.
It's a Thursday.
Change this shit, you know.
The 26th, the anniversary is a Thursday, so.
Nice. Fuck it. I think it's time for us to step up, you know.
It is.
I feel like we're running out of time.
It is the 3-year anniversary. Yeah, I'll keep everyone posted. I appreciate it.
All right, for sure, man.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work, Zach.
Thank you.
Have a nice night.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I said 2 nights ago, I said we need 600 more people to get back to the goal where we're supposed to be. And since then, about 20 people heard my message. About 20 people did. I thought as many people were on those live streams, I thought they would do it. So it made me, I was just like, people don't find what I'm putting out to be worth $1 a month. This knowledge, people don't get it, man. They don't understand how hard I've been pushing, how much censorship we're up. There should be so many people that are like, I got $1 to get behind this. For all you guys who don't have $1, go see what we did in New York. Go see what we did in Oklahoma City. Go see what we've been doing all across the country. This needs to be happening way more all over the place, but it needs more support. It's expensive to travel. Things cost money. That speaker system I need, that thing costs money. Anyway, let's go out to 312. What's up, 312?
Hey, Zach, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. What's going on?
Yeah, this is Brian, first-time caller. I've been following your work for over a year now, and it's just blowing me away all the time. And it's fantastic stuff. The reason I called is I wanted to know if you're aware of a phone app called ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
Yes.
I just looked it up for the first time. It's new to me.
Yeah, and I was playing around with it. What it is artificial intelligence, and it's got information programmed into it up to the year 2021. And just out of curiosity, I asked it about Gematria, and it explained it completely. Not only that, but it did calculations. I asked it to calculate my name using the ordinal cipher, and it did it. Of course, it got the individual letters correct, but when it added it up, it was incorrect. And I told it that it was wrong, and it agreed with me. But not only that, it also does other ciphers too, and it does ciphers in Hebrew. And I gave it some words, and it translated into Hebrew and then ciphered it out. So, for all those people who think that, this is like just a lark or something that's ridiculous, why would they program this into that if it wasn't legitimate, if there wasn't some legitimate use for it, is what I'm asking.
Sure.
And this is something that is invested in by Microsoft and also Reid Hoffman. So, I just thought I'd let you know, and just maybe get an idea of what you think about it. So, yeah, that's basically it.
I appreciate the heads up. It's new information to me. It says it just launched 36 days ago, so it's a pretty new thing. I'll definitely check it out. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
All right, yeah, have a good night.
Good work.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, let's go out to 919. What's up, 919?
Yo, what's up, Zach?
How you doing?
I'm all right. So on my call earlier, matter of fact, I called the day that the Queen died. You had a live stream, and I just want to remind you about the Wiz Khalifa thing. I found more kind of more evidence pointing towards what's going on. So remember, I was telling you that the Queen died on Wiz Khalifa's birthday, and then there was an article written saying that they found, well, they didn't find, but there magically appeared 2 twin rainbows above the Buckingham Palace the day she died. And I was just doing research on, just names and stuff. I found out that Wiz's real name, Cameron Jabril Thomas. Thomas actually means twin. His middle name, Jabril, actually means archangel. So I thought that was kind of funny how, that happened on the same day as Wiz's birthday. So another thing that I just noticed tonight as I was watching the show, that if you write out Wiz's whole name, it equals 212. And it equals 212. And just like how Hamlin was the 212th pick of the draft, and just like the Super Bowl will be on 212. So I just found that interesting. I just found that tonight. And his full name also equals 103.
Very interesting. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and on the night, on opening night, you do remember that the Buffalo Bills, I think they played the Rams that night, if I'm not mistaken, and they won, of course, 31-10. So I was just finding more connections and stuff like that. And then right before his birthday, he dropped an album called Multiverses. The album dropped on July 29th, but it was announced, the cover art was released on July 13th. Well, from July 13th to the day his birthday and the day the Queen died was 57 days.
Huh. Wow. Yeah, so that's really interesting. So to go back and look at that more.
Yeah, I just felt like maybe kind of look into more of how, because I just thought it was significant that day that she died on that day, and nobody like kind of really talked about that it was his birthday. She kind of stole the show in a way. Right. And just automatically, since I've been watching your channel, just learn how to connect things. And it's really real. I can say it's really real. I even called the Tampa Bay winning over the Panthers because it was 45 date numerology. I was trying to tell my dad, because we diehard Panthers fans down here in North Carolina. I was trying to tell him to go for Brady because Tampa Bay equals 45. And I think Tom Brady ended up throwing down fucking 45 passes that game. I was just like, yeah.
Well, he's 45 years old.
This shit is crazy.
Well, he's 45 years old, and he gets to 8-8 on that day, going for his 8th Super Bowl. We'll see. We'll see if they got the ultimate Brady narrative for the playoffs soon enough. So.
Right. So, I mean, as far as it being scripted, I'm convinced. You know what I'm saying? Had a feeling something was going on with sports, and you know what I'm saying. But you really woke me up to some more information, and I really do appreciate you. We appreciate you as a community for just spreading the knowledge. That's all we can really ask for these days, is somebody that look out for us and tell us shit that we need to know, no matter how it comes across. If it needs to be said, it needs to be said.
I appreciate that you are using the knowledge, and I also appreciate what you just said, because I totally get that. I'm putting the information out there. Some people don't like the things I say, so then they start attacking the messenger rather than the message. It's like, if you don't like things I say, again, you don't need to like me, but listen to what I'm saying and look at the knowledge I'm putting out and tell me where I'm wrong. I'm putting this out to try and change the world for the better. If you can't see that, you're blind. Anyway, appreciate it, 919. Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. I'm going to try to call in more to the show to get more familiar with you, Zach.
All right. Yeah, please do call back. Keep up the great work.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, take care. All right, let's go out to, he's not watching the Eagles no more. What's up, Philadelphia?
What's up, Zach? What's going on?
How you doing, man?
I'm hanging. Hey, I wanted to point out a couple things to you. So I noticed, I didn't see that play with Hamlin, but I found out that it was T. Higgins that he was sticking. Now, did T. Higgins hit him, or did he hit T. Higgins?
He tackled T. Higgins with his chest.
With his chest?
Yeah, so like T. Higgins, he was standing tall. He didn't get, I bet the whole play was scripted, literally, because, again, Joe Burrow is on 52 pass yards right now, and the word heart equals 52. And again, this guy, Damar Hamlin, his name equals heart chakra in all 4 base ciphers. Here, just so people can see this. Damar Hamlin, look at his name. In all 4 ciphers, the exact same as heart chakra. Identical in all 4 ciphers, and the word heart in the most simple ciphers, 52. Burrow had a 13-yard completion to Higgins to put him at 52 yards for the game, not to mention Josh Allen stuck on 33 yards like MNF. But anyway, he tackled him standing up, so T. Higgins' helmet like went into his chest, but it wasn't real violent. There was nothing. This play was like a normal NFL tackle. Damar Hamlin goes to the ground with the tackle, jumps up right away, does a big shh in the other player's face, and then falls to the ground, and then that's when all the theatrics, and then they cut to Booger. I mean, whose name is Booger? But then they cut to Booger McFarland to talk about how sad it is instantly and how sad we should be, and then they go to Adam Schefter. Is Adam Schefter even alive? Because I swear to God, that guy is Weekend at Bernie's. Like, what is wrong with Adam Schefter? Why is he so pale? Yeah. He's got, like, blue veins coming through his face. But then I got to listen to Booger and Adam Schefter, who I feel like is a corpse, tell me about how sad I should be feeling. And I'm like, all these people want is your energy and emotions. That's all these rigged-ass games are. And the next thing you know, he's got $4 million donated to his charity, as if these people haven't already paid enough for these overpriced scripted games. Anyway.
Well, damn, doesn't he get a salary, though? So what's the, all right, whatever. So the receiver name is T. Higgins. So it's spelled T-E-E, just like T. Grizzly. If you type up T. Grizzly comes to 66. So you type T-E-E, or, you know, T is the 20th letter, E is the 5th letter. So you got T-E-E, that equals 30. And then you have 30, you know, would you drop it to 0, of course, and then that's 3. What number does Hamlin wear? Number 3. So it's just weird. Like, I'm just like, okay, I didn't even know what happened until I turned on the TV that I'm like, oh, well, what's T?
Hold up. While you're just talking about all this, I just started looking up other names in the background. I overlooked this when I covered this the other day. The one dude who died on the field, Chuck Hughes, he just happens to have the same birthday as Damar Hamlin. Come on, man.
Oh, because I did see a video on that.
Yeah, I missed this. He has the same birthday as Damar Hamlin. He happens to be from your city, too. He's born in Philly. So, hold on, you guys. We'll be right back. We got 30 minutes of show left. Sit tight.
Social problems be kind of like professional disasters. So, for example, if I know that I've been late a few times, I've been late a few times in a social sense, and I'm like, oh, it's fine. Oh, I'll arrive late. You know, I gotta make an entrance, and you're used to that in a social setting. And people have said, hey, Jamar, don't be late, man. You're like, all right, no problem. I'll show to the party on time next time. Yeah. That social issue becomes a professional disaster, because if you're late in that social sense, when you're late as a professional, you can miss out an opportunity. People will see that you're coming in late, so for you towards other people, and that it just doesn't show good for your brand. So to circumvent that, it's, you know, find out what your social problems are, so to speak. What do you do, maybe internally or with friends, that people have told you that's a problem, and fix it there, so that it doesn't affect you and become a professional disaster.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Join me on the Nikki Colombo Show. It's time to reclaim our true history, our true timelines, our cosmic heritage. And remember to be humble, for you are made of earth, and to be noble, for you are made of stone.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. All right, Philadelphia, we do have a lot of people on hold, but if you want to get your final thoughts out there, you got the floor.
Okay. So I wanted to point out to you, did you hear about the situation with the Bitcoin? Supposed to, what is it, Coin? I forgot the name of the company that sells the coins or the cryptocurrency.
The FTX scandal?
So I think that's it, because I heard about it at work today. And they're supposed to be suing for $57 million.
I haven't caught up with the latest, but again, that FTX filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on 11/11, run by the Jew Sam Bankman-Fried, when Jew equals 11. And with regards to 57, that's another word that. Well, anyway, I'll look into it more. I got to get caught up on that story.
Yeah, that was another thing. I think this Brady thing, I think it's something to this. You know, because notice that they won the South, and all of a sudden, you know, they can't have a good season with a black coach. You know, if Arians was still there, you know, it'd probably have been like fucking undefeated. But yeah, I think it's something to this Brady thing. I think, you know, with everything that's happened, first Evans couldn't catch a touchdown all year. Now he can catch touchdowns. I don't know. This is really seeming like something's going to happen with Brady.
Again, he's trying to get to 8-3, the football number. The guy dead on the field, I guess now he's alive. They had to resuscitate him twice. But born on the 83rd day of the year, like we said, number 33 standing, number 3's down. Brady's 33-3 against the Bills. Could they do it? We're going to find out soon enough. So, anyway, man, appreciate it.
And yeah, just the football thing. When you made the video about the magnets and the ball, the Texas player couldn't get the ball off of his hand, so they took the glove off. I saw that in the middle of the night. What was it, last night?
Yeah. What's up with that?
What did I say? What did I say about the magnets in the football and the basketball to switch to Wilson?
I've been saying the same thing for a long time, man. So I'm not arguing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's just like wow. And that Eagles, I got to bring up my Eagles. So
I had the Eagles losing this week to the Saints. I knew they were going down to the Saints. Pope Benedict had just died. When you're a pope and you die, you become a saint. What's his name equal? Joseph Ratzinger, 79. Saints become 7-9 and 3-5 away. Benedict equals 35 like Catholic. You couldn't do it against a better city than Philly. That's why all these people that sleep on Gematria, you guys, there's no alarm clock that's going to wake you up. You're sleeping for life. So anyway.
That's all I needed to hear from you.
All right.
Go on to the next call. I'll call it next week.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Take care.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, all you guys who just won't look at the guy in the chat tonight. He just donated 20. He's like, I just signed up for the Patreon, just won my first amount of money tonight. Again, you guys, the knowledge is not a joke. You learn this knowledge and you're patient with your sports betting. There are riddles that come through that are just like, oh, I can't pass up on that one, and then you're happy you did it. Let's go out to 407. What's up, 407?
Can you hear me, Zach?
I can hear you.
All right, so that was me. You were just talking about open up in the chat. Just
How perfect!
My first $20.
How perfect! Congrats.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even bet, and I live in a state where you can't bet, Florida. But I found my way to do it, and the only reason I did it was to prove this, and won $20, so easy money. Made sure I gave back to the community too. But that's not the main reason.
Well, that's amazing because I got guys in this community that have been winning off me for years, and they've never left a tip once. So thank you for being a good tipper.
Yeah, but I called because, I was just listening like usual, and while I was listening, I got a notification for a shooting in Utah, and they said it was in a city named Enoch, and we know about Enoch, the book of Enoch and all that, but in the story, they said that 5 children died and 3 adults, and it happened in Iron County. And Iron County equals 55 and 53. It said it happened on a 4900 block of Albert Drive 53.
Okay,
Police
here.
Said they made
you guys, in my sports teaching, I call Utah the 14 state. What day is this news breaking? It's breaking on 1/4. What does Utah equal? 14 like dead. So we have a story of death in Utah on 1/4. And notice, Utah is also 58 in the base ciphers. What's the headline say? 8 people dead, 5 children. I mean, this stuff's not. That's why you learn gematria. You just see how it all rolls out by the code day after day.
Yeah, daily. So there's a little bit more. I just did this real quick, in about 5 or 10 minutes. But yeah, Book of Enoch 55 and 44. Book of Enoch is also 109, and 109 is shooting 44 as well. But another thing with 109, they said that the guy that they interviewed, his name is Aaron Diamond. He said he knew the victims, and his name is 109 and 55. And then you have Kill 44. Also 28, like today's numerology. And today's Wednesday, that's another 44. And then 55 we know is Satan, and Book of Enoch explains the origin of demons and other things. So that was just a quick little decode I did, probably 5-10 minutes.
Well, keep up the great work. Congrats on your first W and nice decode. Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
All right, take care. Yeah, I had a guy who won $10,000 off the Argentina knowledge, and thankfully he sent a $20 tip, but I was like, man, you shouldn't have told me you won $10,000 if you're only sending $20. What kind of tip percentage is that? That's like 0.00000. We don't even know how I got to do the math, but it is small. Anyway, let's go out to 424. What's up, 424? 424, you're on.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Zach?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, Zach, this is Joe in L.A., first-time caller. I'm really new to Gematria, but over the past several years, I would say I've been becoming awake just through other avenues, just through movies, music, and starting to pick up the patterns in sports as well. And I kind of wanted to piggyback off of, I guess that guy's name was Rocky, was talking about the Broncos, yeah?
Yeah.
And did you know, I would imagine, are you aware that John Elway is a well-known Freemason?
Like almost everyone in the NFL. I'd imagine almost everybody here in this photo is a Freemason.
I mean, I'm just saying, you can, if you Google it or whatever, he's got his own page, the Freemasons and all that, from his Denver chapter. Anyways, it's a recognized. He is recognized as that. One of the things I found interesting is, a lot of these guys, someone close to them dies under mysterious circumstances or otherwise. You also, I noticed a lot of these guys have a twin or have children that are twins. I'm noticing that a lot. And with Elway, apparently he had a twin sister named Jana who died at 42 in the same year that he divorced his wife, Janet. And I'm emphasizing the names because it's reminiscent of the god Janus, the Roman god Janus, it's a Roman, the god of beginnings, gates, transitions, time, duality, doorways, passages. And so, I don't know, it's overwhelming how massive this thing is. I don't even know what it is. It just seems like I said, music, it's not just sports. You see it in music. You see it in the movies. They're all pointing to similar things, you know, ancient mythology, you know, old kings. You see a lot of these guys, you know, they get the nicknames, whether, you know, King James, King Henrik. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'm going all over the place. But yeah, I just I noticed that, and also he was drafted by the Colts, which is also another horse team. And last night I heard you say Orange is 33, and I just found it interesting that he got traded to the Broncos, which is only one of two teams that wore orange as the home color. And he was apparently going to be traded to the Raiders, and Pete Rozelle killed the deal, something like that. So it's just, yeah. Sorry,
okay.
I'll
sure.
let you talk for a
Well,
minute.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I just got again, you guys. Like I said, if you guys can all keep your call to 2 minutes or less, we'll get through everybody because there's still a lot of people on hold. But I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
All right, good observations. Yeah, you have a good night. All right, let's go out to New Hampshire. New Hampshire, you're on.
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. So I called in the other night. I just found out they changed Chuck Hughes' birthday online.
Is it, so for football reference, it has it as March 24th.
Yeah, but if you go on Wikipedia, it says March 2nd now.
Well, see, that's Wikipedia is always shifting birthdays, but this football reference is accurate on birthdays. So we'll see if they end up changing on football reference. I doubt they will, but this is probably the right one, and we know why Wikipedia changed it because people are catching on. So
there's a few others too. Like there's this other website, Birthday DBs, March 2nd. It's like the first, when you type in on Google, it's like the first like 5 or 6 websites say March 2nd now.
Yeah, once Google changes it, they did this. They did this with Chadwick Boseman. Again, for people who don't know, I have Chadwick Boseman's old birthday archived before they changed it the day he died because they didn't want to make it so obvious that he died at age 42 on the makeshift Jackie Robinson Day when he starred in the movie 42. And again, he also died on the birthday of the Black Panther author, and of course, Jackie Robinson was in World War II supposedly and was in the Black Panther Tank Brigade. So what a ritual they did with Chadwick Boseman, and they changed his age of death to 43. Which also fits because Robinson equals 43 in Gematria, and so does RIP. But anyhow, go ahead.
I was following your videos even back then, so I remember. Let's see. Rafael Devers contract. This is going to be a few random things, but I've been doing some decodes myself. Rafael Devers contract, $331 million, 11 years. If you type in Rafael Devers 11-year contract, it equals 322 and 133, which is the opposite of 331.
331 is the 67th prime, 67 is the 19th prime. I'll have to look at that. There's usually a ritual with the contracts.
And it's also 322, like the Skull and Bones number.
Yeah.
And then if you type in Rafael Devers Boston, it equals 201. So
okay.
Also, I I did another thing on Takeoff. Quavo just released a new song. It's called Without You. It was released 64 days after Takeoff's death, and Takeoff equals 64 in the first cipher.
Yeah, there you go. That's how they do it.
Yeah, I've just been doing a couple of decodes here, finding out some, some stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that stuff, and yeah, I appreciate all the work you do, man.
Keep up the great work. Sounds like you got the skills already. Keep it up.
Yeah, of course, man.
All right, take care.
See ya.
When I first started this back in 2013, people would always leave the comment, if this is true, how come you're the only person doing it? Here we are. Going on 10 years later, there's thousands of people decoding now. And like I said back then, it's like anybody can do it. Just use the knowledge. Do it just like I do it. You'll see. What's up, 727?
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
I just wanted to mention real quick on the DeMar Hamlin thing, since that's the hot topic. And by the way, been a Patreon subscriber for quite a long time. I don't use it's the sports page, but I don't use it for betting. I just use it to learn more about it so that I can do my own decodes and share it with people at work, share it with people that I know, to try to wake them up, because people are brain dead and brainwashed when it comes to sports, and they get mad about it and all this other stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to mention, they're saying now that the heart condition that he may have had, it's called commotio cordis. I think that's how you say it. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know, but anyway, the gematria, it's got the 72, like the Jesuit order, the gematria of 81, which is the ritual number, and it's also 81 days from Hamlin's birthday. It's got 171, which is the 18th triangular number, which is the Bills number. Bills is 18. And it's got the 207, like the Buffalo Bills has 207. And what's interesting too about it is it's supposedly, if you get hit in the chest, it sends additional electric waves through your heart. And which I found interesting, because obviously Buffalo's had a big problem with electricity.
And the lady just pointed out their flag is lightning bolts.
Yeah, I heard the caller previous.
Yeah, and again, when you were going through that list, I didn't hear you say that it equals 81, like Bills and Ritual, like how it happened 81 days before his birthday, that commotio cordis, 81 as well. 72 like Buffalo Bills, again, 171, the 18th triangular like Bills. So yeah, you can see where they came up with this diagnosis.
Yeah, exactly. And they also had like a bunch of doctors, like an hour after it happened, explaining it away, like they had time to film, edit, post everything within the hour. I mean, it was ridiculous. But anyway, one of the other things, and this is probably a reach, but throughout the time that I've been watching you, there's always something like on the ambulance that like is a clue, usually. I mean, when it's a big story like this. So I noticed that there were no numbers like really on the ambulance except for 29, and it's like a small 29, but LVII for 57 is 29. And also, if you look at some of the pictures, if you look at the picture of the actual hit itself, you'll see Ebenezer standing right there at the contact point. And he's number 57. And he's also the one that's bent over DeMar Hamlin. And there's a couple of pictures, if you look for his name, you'll see him. He's the only one like bent over the dude. And he's, wearing the number 57. And there's a 57 on the license tag of the ambulance as well. So
of course there was. Imagine if the NFL fans found out that they rehearsed this all week.
No, that's not coincidental.
It's not. I got to go back and look at all that. Those are great observations. But yeah, I really appreciate that. And yeah, just imagine if all those NFL fans found out, who paid all that money to go to that game, that whole thing was rehearsed. They'd probably. It's just.
And then they got fake crying. Everybody's fake crying on the news, and this is a bunch of nonsense, dude. I can't believe it.
Indeed, exactly. Booger with his fake Exactly. It's such a joke, man. Sure. All right, appreciate it, 727. Great observations.
Have a good night, Zach.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
See you, man.
All right, let's keep it moving. We got 7 minutes of show left and a lot of people on hold. If you guys can do it 1 to 2 minutes, we'll get through a few more voices. What's up, 724?
Hello, Zach.
Hello.
Yeah, this is my first time calling. I've been following you since 2015.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in.
You know when you called the Broncos in Pampers?
Okay. Veteran.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. And it's been 8 years. I'm calling on my dad's 74th birthday today.
Happy
birthday. He's not
birthday.
going to be killed because 74 is the Gematria number.
Well, all things dualistic. Hopefully it'll be a great year for him. Happy birthday to him.
Yeah, well, I've seen the natural observance with it in that. Because since he was in Vietnam and my grandpa was in World War II. Back in August 2018, basically he said he'd be lucky to make it to September. I always wondered why he said that. Often he died on August 31st. It was 115 days until his birthday, or the killing number, you know. And he was 93, almost 94. Yeah, sickening. Also, I noticed a natural occurrence from a local school around here. Can you search this wrestler on Wikipedia?
What is it?
Kerry Kolat. C-A-R-Y space K-O-L-A-T.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, you see how he was 137-0 in high school?
Let's see.
You know, type his name in on all 4 ciphers. You'll see one of them is 137, like the 33rd prime. And I'm from the Keystone State, and that's, of course, 33.
Right.
Yeah, it's sickening how they do this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, of course, I got the jab because my father convinced me to do it. Yeah, I completely forgot about your work, man.
Well, I'm looking at this thing you told me about. But yeah, again, I love when people like you find the knowledge and just add more to it. So yeah, 137-0 to go with his name. Another perfect ritual.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. I really appreciate it. I'm still learning it and that. I completely found your channel by random, your first ever channel before they deleted the 24 cents, I think. I can't remember how much you've had. I know how many you've deleted, and I lost track again. I know it's sickening how they're removing your blogs on that. And speaking of 2019, I remember telling my brother, I told him to bet on the Buccaneers and Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, like you said. Right? Early on in the season, the Bucs will win. He said he wouldn't do it, and he never did.
Well, some people learn the hard way. All right, friend. Well, I really appreciate it, man.
And I got into an argument with his girlfriend. She's a Browns fan, and oh my God. She said, how can you feel bad for that, not say that Hamlin did not beat the injury? How could they fix the CPR? Well, they fix CPR in films all the time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. People are all caught up in the theater, man. That's why they do it. So
right.
They don't want to break out of the matrix.
Yep, I'm just glad I found that local decode from a local high school around here.
Yeah, it's amazing how close to home it can become. So anyhow, friend, I really appreciate it. Keep up the great work and call us back. Thank you.
Thanks, Zach. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man. All right, Lottsville using the knowledge, making great finds. 303, what's up? 303.
Hey, what's going on, Zach? First time calling. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Thanks for calling.
Hey, have you ever typed in Invesco Field?
Invesco Field?
Correct.
The gematria of it, you're saying?
Yes.
I probably have, because I usually look at this stuff week after week. What do you know?
So the Broncos, they opened that stadium on the 10th, the day before 9/11.
Okay.
And the score was 31-20.
Okay. $31-20, 312, like two.
Yep.
Okay, I see you're doing that because the 201 and the 312, it's like Pope Francis' name is 201 and 312, and the name of his apartment's 312 and 201. Interesting. Okay.
and just like they basically won by 11 points.
Yeah.
So the only other one I want you to do is type in "find a way."
Type in what?
Find, F-I-N-D, the letter A, and way.
I see. Find a way. It's like Colorado in all four. Find a way.
That was the Avalanche's motto this year. 5 minutes into the playoffs, going against National.
Find a way.
Popped up.
Perfect.
So I typed that up, and of course, it's perfect with Colorado.
Yeah, all four.
So my buddies put that money on it. Last time they won was in 2001, 21 years earlier.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
But, it's just like the King Super shooting that happened on 322. Don't know if you know, but I have buddies that used to work at that store years ago. That's store number 33.
Yeah, no, we did cover that. And then the next shooting at a Kroger was 322 days later, up here on March 8th of last year. Or not March 8th, excuse me, February 7th, the 38th day of the year. And then at first they said a 38-year-old killed a 38-year-old on the 38th day of the year. So.
Yep.
All right.
So, and the cool thing is with the 83, Northern Colorado just came out with a new area code, right? It's the 983.
Huh. Go figure. 83 in the sequence.
And of course, I love going to Denver because I go past exit 202.
That's Yale Street. That's Yale Street. I was just there. I saw that.
So. The 202.
Yeah, exit 202 is Yale Street, right?
Yeah, exit 202 is Yale.
No, I literally, on the way to Oklahoma City, I was getting exhausted because I driven straight through, and I finally pulled over in Denver. I live out here near Seattle, for people who don't know. But I drove all that way, and I was getting tired. It was in the middle of the night, and it was like I was right next to that exit. I think the exit right before that's 84th Street, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, and they got 144th Street up there.
Yeah, I pulled over and just slept in a parking lot for like 2 hours, and then I drove the rest of the way to Oklahoma City. So, anyway, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Great research.
Not a problem. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
have a good night. Oh, God, we only got 30 seconds of show left. I was going to try to get in one more caller, but we don't got time. The music's about to start. Anyway, I'll stay after on the YouTube channel. Thanks for everyone who called in tonight. Great show. Until next time. All right, we're going to do a little bit of after hours here. I got to thank the super chatters. We raised $40 during the show. Actually, sorry to all the people, if you're watching on YouTube, who did not get through on the call. There were about 10 more people still on hold. But please call back next week. And again, if you call the show early, the thing is the veterans know to call in early. That's why we always hear the same voices every week at the start of the show. But if you're a new person you want to get in, be sure to call the show early. It starts at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. It's a call board, so you get entered in line in the order you called in. All right, Sammy, thank you so much. Sammy donated $2. Steven Shields chipped in $1. Steven, by the way, I saw you say I got off the line because I'm making room for new callers. In a way, thank you for doing that, but at the same time, you only just recently started calling to the show, so you're kind of a new voice to the show. God's Node chipped in Pi 314, appreciate it. Alt Horde comment. He said, just started with the sports decodes, 120 today, appreciate it. Hey, that's how you start. Congratulations. Bamboo Soldier chipped in 5, said, interesting, the DC in DC shoes is short for drawers clothing, which equals 177 and 201 like the Jesuit order, and 78 like Jesuit, and of course that 75 goes with Catholic Church. Crazy. I never knew what DC standed for in DC shoes. Good research. There's always more. And Carl Streener, I hope you're doing better. He probably went to bed because he's in the UK. It's pretty, London's 8 hours ahead of the West Coast, so it's like 5 in the morning there. But Carl Streener chipped in $1.49 in the British pounds. It's about $2 US, so thank you. And again, appreciate everyone's generosity. And Snake Eater just chipped in another 20. Thank you, Snake Eater. I appreciate that. That's a big chip in, $20. I just wish everybody would chip in $1. But yeah, again, you guys, I really do want to go to the LA thing for the Kobe anniversary, and Again, there's still plenty of time to make the decision. But, again, I do want to see this movement build and grow. And it went backwards a long ways last year. And there could be a lot of reasons it went backwards. But it did feel that with every time I went out, like went to Oklahoma City, support went way down afterwards. Went out to Buffalo, support went down even further. Went out to New York City, support went down even further. I'm like, this is weird. I feel like going out and doing this should be building the movement, but every time I go out, it goes down even further. And, yeah, but I'm also hearing from people who say, like, Zach, it won't accept my credit card anymore. So I'm like, is it some kind of suppression? It's just like when I arrived in New York, the channel got demonetized, right? I used to have 2 channels that were monetized. Now I'm down to 1. But, yeah, it's just... Yeah. Anyway, I will make the decision, and I do want to be there, and I hope the weather gets a little bit better in LA. And speaking of LA, here's one of its residents. What's up, DK Stonewood?
Yeah, we're getting some rain down here. What's going on?
Yeah, it looks like Seattle. I was looking at the 2-week forecast. I was like, wow, it's supposed to be like rain there for 2 straight weeks and be in the 50s? That doesn't sound like LA.
I mean, this is, I think, like a normal El Nino weather pattern for us. You know, like I remember just like from high school, like I remember right around there when I graduated high school, we had like an El Nino, and I was going snowboarding like twice a week, you know, just like every chance that I could get. And it was kind of like this, you know, it'd rain on and off kind of for like, you know, a week or 2 at a time. And then, you know, 5 years, then we'd go into like an El Nino weather pattern. By the way, my pimp snowboard outfit is DC shoes. So when I saw that today, you know that photo you've been putting up all night with all the players kneeling?
Right.
Did you take a look at just all the numbers that are showing?
Well, you got like 77 screams out because it's in the middle. Secret Society is 77. 30 is Hamlin, right? 91's the 13th triangular number, big moon number. It's a Monday moon day, the 13-month cycle. Last play of the game is a 13-yard completion. I'm not sure if the one guy's wearing 60 with the hand on the back.
That's what it looks like to me, 60.
Yeah, there's probably something more to all the numbers that are showing.
Yeah, I looked at it, I was like, so a couple numbers are popping out, but haven't really like put my finger on like the whole.
Well, all right. Let's not count the guys who are kneeling whose numbers show 91, 30, 77, 60. Here, let me do the math. 121, 198, 258. Number of the beast, 258. The square root of 666 is 25.8. The phrase number of the beast has gematria 258. Somebody pointed out how the 3 orange jerseys that you can make out in the crowd are 999, which is kind of like 666 inverted. And for people who think that's stupid, don't forget they put out that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1999 that begins with the Vatican and they're spying up at the sky and they know that's the moment that the Antichrist child's going to be born. And then the one guy's like, yeah, 999 is the real 666. And then, of course, they go to New York City. But...
and then the guy standing is 33. Right.
Like MNF, like exactly. Monday Night Football, Masonry, his name's Neil while everybody else is kneeling. We were talking about earlier how Hiram Abiff, because you have the Masonic kneeling ritual of Hiram Abiff equals 73, like the score was 73, and the word Mason is also 73.
Jesus is also 33 too, master teacher.
Right.
Which is also like Hiram Abiff, and then you know, like in the Superman movies, by the way, can you go to your email and cue that little 10-second clip up right away?
Go to my email?
Yeah, go to your email and I sent you a clip. It's like about 10 seconds. So is it
which email did you send it to?
GematriaEffectNews.
Okay.
Gmail.
Okay, I'm going there right now.
You know how it's Skull and Bones, right?
Right.
And then how well, obviously Superman's dad is from another planet.
It says when I found your email, it says there's a, here, let me try to download it and see if it works. It's saying there's a problem with the file. Let me see. All right, when I downloaded it, it worked. Here, I'll get this up real quick. You want me to play this clip?
Yeah, well, let me ask the question first. How old is Superman?
I don't know.
Play the clip.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. All right, here it is. All right, let me get the volume up here. All right, make it bigger. Hold on. Stand by. Here it comes. Superman clip.
Tranquilizing agent of yours. You won't need it.
Sir, you can't expect us to not take precautions. You could be carrying some kind of alien pathogen.
Been here for 33 years, Doctor. Haven't infected anyone yet.
And you know.
He's been here for 33 years and he hasn't infected anyone yet. Okay, perfect.
Funny, huh?
Indeed.
I was at the gym on the ski trainer warming up and I saw the highlight of the guy and scored the hat trick goal 3 minutes into the overtime, and I was like, oh, that one's guaranteed. Zach's gonna talk about that tomorrow.
Did you? Yeah, I covered that. I mean, perfect ritual.
Yeah. I don't really have any decodes. I just have a couple like caveats and maybe tangents about kind of like what Rambo talked about. Also, I was just saying how 33 is like Jesus and the Hiram Abiff thing, and then that just reminds me how, you know, they do the Jesus Christmas thing at the time when Sirius is the closest, you know.
Right.
And Rambo was saying how Jesus is Sirius. The story goes that Jesus, or the soul that incarnated into that physical body that was known as, you know, Yeshua here, is from Sirius A, and he is the soul that led the 144,000 twin souls that came to Earth after the flood start incarnating here to like change the tides, like, you know, what would be called the, you know, you're awake people or something. If you take 144,000 out of the 7.7 billion, I think it's 1 out of every 56,000 or something like that, like the number comes out to. So, you know, if you take a square radius around you, you know, 56,000 people, you may find another person that's out of the group as well, you know, it's kind of like that. What else? Oh, you know, that one of the callers just called in. I think it was the guy you said sounded like George. He was talking about the Lookout Mountain thing.
Okay.
The Lookout Mountain thing in Laurel Canyon. That was actually, there's a movie studio there, and all the big stars were there, but that's where they ran the Helter Skelter psyop, Manson murder psyop out of right there. It's right in that area, and there's all kinds of tunnels that go out of that place to some of these really affluent homes around there, and including tunnels to the infamous Harry Houdini house. And the guy, Jared Leto, is the last guy I think that owned that place, like Lookout Mountain, like he owned it as like a residence. And I'm actually going to do a show there, live show there with the Fullerton Informer soon, and we're going to be actually at the Getty Center, and you know that's where they say there's a lot of tunnels under the Getty Center. People say they've heard like children, you know, underground screaming and stuff for help there. So we're going to do a show live there and kind of go through some of this. So anyway, what did I want to say about what Rambo? Okay, you know how you were talking about, you guys were talking about
Here, I just got to pause real quick. Sorry. Again, mods, like this Cody guy with his writing, can't you recognize that he's a troll? This is the troll's campaign to just write the same shit. Like, Cody, if you're a real human being, are you a retard? Are you a retard, Cody? I mean, look at the fucking notes. Like, what side do you think I'm picking in the Timberwolves game? I mean, it's a one-way street. I get tired of these fucking morons coming in here going, he doesn't give picks. Are you guys fucking retarded? Like, if there's 20 reasons for one team to win in the notes and 0 for the other, what team am I picking? I mean, it's just like, and mods, don't be like, oh, just give it a few more. It's a troll, you guys. Block these fucking trolls. They all come in here and write the same shit. It's so annoying. Don't you realize like it's a political campaign to write, he doesn't give picks? We write out clearly what the football analysis is, and if you're too much of a fucking moron, you can't weigh the obvious information. If there's 20 fucking reasons for a team to win, and then 0 for the other, I wonder what side I would pick. I mean, these people are morons. And mods, please don't entertain them. Just give them the big fat ban. Anytime somebody starts writing that bullshit-ass statement, just ban, because it's obvious what it is. God, it's just like, okay. Anyway, go ahead.
Is that your sports trolls following over from your sports channel?
Then Cody Hunt, if you're not trolling, you're a fucking moron, and I don't put out the work for swine, and when I start seeing swine write stupid comments, I think about raising the price so that the swine can't afford it. God, go look at the notes, moron, and then come back to me, and don't cry that I'm calling you a moron if you're not a troll, because you are a fucking moron, and look in the mirror and say, I need to do better. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
What were you just talking about with Rambo about the Vikings something? I wanted to refer to that, but I forgot what Rambo had said on it.
I don't remember what he said. He was talking about Odin and I forget.
Yeah, some of the Norse stuff. I just had a caveat, something kind of you talk about all the time about the like how we have the 13 stars and stripes and all that. So like when the Vikings like invaded North America, basically they were invading, you know, like the indigenous people here, which you know call them Indians or whatever you want to call them, and they had a lot of these forts like on the water, and the way they were set up was like with like sacred geometry, kind of like in the shape of a star, like either like a 5-pointed star, like 6-pointed star. And you know, you see some of these ancient like sites, you know, like Angkor Wat or the way if you look at it like from a drone view, an aerial view, you see how it's set up like it looks like the Star of David or something, you know, the topography of the whole complex. So when these Vikings invaded, they were known to have like their uniform was like red and white stripes. So like even like some of the paintings and stuff from those times, it has like their sails as red and white striped, and also they had like these kilt type things on their outfits that were red and white striped. So like since you know the Vikings and the pirates that went around, these are actually all the same folks, you know, just with kind of a different name depending on the climate. You know, if it's a warmer climate, they're pirates. If it's a colder climate, then they're Vikings. So as they invaded all these like star forts that were star-shaped forts that were like on the water, you know, and took over, and then that's how we get our American flag having the white stars on the blue portion, which like stands for those star forts on the water, and then their red and white stripes, where they get the red and white stripes from. And then you look at some of those paintings and depictions, you know, on their boats and stuff like that, it was red and white striped. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then another interesting thing about the Vikings is there was this Viking called Harold Bluetooth, where this Bluetooth that we have, that you know, you hook up your devices to and like your car and all that, it actually comes from this guy. And if you look at like his initials, it's actually the Bluetooth logo. It's like the two in the Norse writing, his initials are, if you push it like together, it's the Bluetooth logo that pops up, that little like line with the like kind of like antenna looking thing coming out of it. And then if you look at like who owns the patents for Bluetooth, there's like 10 of them. Most of them are owned by that company Ericsson, which Leif Erikson is another Viking. So
again, this year in the NFL, the Vikings have never lost on Leif Erikson Day. They don't obviously every year their game doesn't fall on Leif Erikson Day, but this year they became 9-0 on Leif Erikson Day, 9 wins, 0 losses, and they played the Bears, which equals 90. And just another reminder of how stupid and scripted these games are. And again, for people out there, the reason I get tired of the trolls with their bullshit campaign and this moron saying he's not a troll, writing this shit over and over, it's like, are these people fucking dumb? Because every day I put in hours of work for the sports decodes, and it's lucrative because, and all you guys who refuse to, like, all you guys who stay broke and refuse to, like, invest $5 a month, for literally, you get about 100 hours of labor out of me and out of the sports notes I put out. But every day there's games like this that are gems. Like Timberwolves are an underdog, and all the notes are on their side today. And Cody's here like, I don't know who to pick. It's like, well, dude, maybe go back to kindergarten and learn how to fucking read, because it's not very hard to see which games are the good picks. That's why I weigh it out on scales. It's like, God, how dumb are people? If a game looks even and there's equal notes on both sides, guess what? That means don't play that game because it's hard to fucking tell. But when you get a game like the Timberwolves, who are favored to lose but have the better riddle to win where the value is, it's a no-brainer. And that's the problem. People have no fucking brains, so they're like, I don't know what it means. It's like, how the fuck can you not know what it means? My God, man. And for all of you who don't like when I rant like this, go find another channel then, because I'm sick of fucking retards, and I'm not here to really help out retards, but I wish there were more people in the community who had $5 who would invest and increase their bankroll like other smart people have in the community. Then we'd have plenty of resources all around. You guys would be helping me out. You'd be helping yourself out. Said I got morons like Cody put in the 5, and he doesn't know how to fucking read. And he's like, I don't know who to pick. How the fuck do you not know how to pick? Back to kindergarten. Stop gambling. Okay. All right, go ahead.
You know what? Let me ask you a question regarding that. So, like, most of your like picks, or like, let's just say most of the bets that people would be placing based on the knowledge are like money line bets, no? Because like riddles, they wouldn't like, you know, the riddles are more for like what team's gonna win, not if they're gonna cover.
No, because the ATS, they're strong ATS riddles. Like the other week, the Denver Broncos were an underdog, and both teams would become 6-8 against the spread if the Broncos upset, and they did. And Denver equals 68. So no, you can look into the spreads and stuff too. It helps with the over-unders. It's like the Miami Patriots game. I love the over for that game, and the over did hit. So it helps in all aspects.
Okay. So how would you know, for instance, like if the riddle looks good for a certain team, how would you know whether to take them like money line or whether just to take them for the spread?
Well, it's okay. So it's like here, the Spurs game today, right? The Spurs were a major underdog, and they had a strong narrative to potentially upset. When it's like it comes through 90, when a strong underdog has a strong narrative to upset, they cover that spread like almost 90% of the time. But it's risky to take them on the money line, because like the Spurs lost by a few points today, but they were favored to lose by like, I forget, like 10 or whatever it was. Okay. So, and also you can look at the ATS too, and sometimes it's like, you know, like Spurs are playing New York, and if their ATS number will match the gematria of New York, if they cover. So
you're always basically recommending stay on the safer side and take the spread, give yourself a little bit of a buffer, then go for the bigger payout.
Yeah, and again, I mean that's so. Again, you take dogs with the points, you'll win a high percentage of your bets when the riddle's strong. You'll win a very high percentage. I mean, you won't get the big payouts, but. And that's why I teach people, like, the games that are riskier, like when an underdog has a huge potential payout, you can bet like $1 on them and stick them with 3 locks and turn $1 into $20. And then, you know, once you start building your bankroll, what becomes $1 to you is like $10. You can risk $10 on it and potentially win a couple hundred. So.
Okay. I guess let me just finish what else I had written down here. Oh, I don't know if I've ever even mentioned this, but I was talking to a guy who he's actually the marshal of the Masonic lodges in El Segundo and Redondo Beach. He's a third degree. I mean, he's probably like, I don't think he's even 40 yet. He's probably like about between 35 and 40. A Mexican guy. So I mean, it should just tell you that, you know, the people that they have in the system at the lower levels are just, you know, really do. I mean, he knows a few things and stuff about like what's really going on in the world, but you know, he still sticks to his things. So we were talking just in general, and I was like, have you yet figured out what the G stands for? Because I've been asking him for like 5 years, you know. And he was, you know, we talked about all the different potential meanings, like if it could stand for God, and it stands for, you know, geometry, it stands for the generative principle, and all these different things. And I was like, have they told you yet what it actually stands for? Do I need to come in there and make a presentation to your you know, your group or whatever? So he's like, what does this stand for? What does this stand for? I'm like, okay, so you know, forget about, I know we realized masonry was taken over and all that, but you know, let's go, if you want to go back to the origination of it, they're the builders, right? So who's the original builder?
Oh my God, what's his name from Genesis? Oh my God.
Right, the guy who built the ark, that actually, the reason why anybody is here, right? He saved humanity, so he built the ark. He's the first builder.
Nimrod. No, it's Nimrod's the first builder. Nimrod built the Tower of Babel. That's whose name I was trying to think of.
Oh, he's the. I was talking more about builder of like society, kind of like builder of society. You know, like kind of like how they call themselves now, the Masons, how they like kind of are shaping our society. So you know, Noah was the one who saved humanity and built the ark, and then built society out of his descendants. And then, you know, Noah's real name is Gilgamesh, so that's why they use the G. It's actually Gilgamesh.
I think it represents a lot of things, that G.
Yeah.
Definitely geometry, definitely God, definitely Gnosticism, definitely the generative principle, probably Gilgamesh. Yeah, again, it's just like symbols. They're meant to have more than one meaning. I mean, the G's surrounded by instruments of sacred geometry, and then again, you got the whole idea of sacred geometry and God, and then I bet it also represents gematria, which almost nobody knows about.
Exactly.
Yeah. I didn't know that you were tight with the Fullerton Informer. That guy once threw some slanderous remarks my way. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's an interesting character. I'll just say that.
I think he's a complete moron, to be perfectly honest. He's another guy that said everybody would die when 5G came out, but
did he really?
Yeah, of course he did. So
I mean, he's kind of like on the G, you know, like the Jesus thing, you know, so
yeah, like to me, like guys like him should just retire. You said everyone was gonna die when 5G came out, and just all these guys that did that just shamelessly continue on. It's just like all you guys do is put out false information. So
you know what? You know, do you know the show The Missing Link? That I've been on that show a few times, but I didn't know that. He just told me, the guy who does the show told me, he goes, yeah, can you ask Zach why he?
That's news to me.
He told me that, I think you were on. He told me, well, from what I tried to look back, I couldn't find me. He's like, yeah, he was on, and then it was supposed to be a panel where it was like a bunch of people that one day, and then he never showed up. Ask him how come he never showed up, and I was like, oh, really? I wasn't aware of that. I didn't even know you guys knew each other.
What channel is this?
Huh?
What channel is this?
The Missing Link.
The Missing Link? I don't know, man. I don't remember being invited to The Missing Link. I don't know what channel that is.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, that doesn't sound like Zach if he said he was going to show up to something and not show up. I just have one more thing. There was a caller, was that yesterday? I can't remember what day it was. He was talking about, I think it was right now after yesterday after the guy died, or Monday night maybe, or after the guy had the heart attack or the fake heart attack or whatever it was. He was talking about like how, you know, on the next dimension up, can they see us? Like, they're harvesting the energy. Are they playing sports up there? You know, like he was kind of going off on that tangent. And I just wanted to kind of, you know, take a stab at that. So like, and he was saying like how about like the reason evil's here is because we're allowing it to stay. Like that's the only reason it's here. So I just want to like take a stab at that for people to try to kind of like be able to see the forest for the trees. So like how the next dimension up, like let's just call it the fourth dimension if we're in the third dimension. So how it looks from up there if they're looking at us. So picture you're like at a store, let's just say Walmart. I mean, hopefully nobody's shopping at Walmart, but let's just say you're at Walmart and you're shopping and you're about to pay with your card, and you're at the register, right? And you pull out your card, and let's just say it's a Wells Fargo debit card, because everybody knows Wells Fargo's got the like horses pulling the carriage I don't have Wells Fargo, but everybody's gonna know that logo. So like you're looking at your Wells Fargo debit card, and the little hologram sticker of the horses in the carriage, when you move the card back and forth, the horses are moving, the legs are moving, and you know the carriage, they're pulling the carriage, you move it back, and so there's motion going on, there's stuff going on in there, but that's actually like a flat sticker, and you know, on a flat card, the card's got what, maybe like not even a millimeter thickness, but that sticker that hologram is on is like even way thinner than the card. So picture, okay, so now you're standing there at the register, you know, you're sitting there holding your Wells Fargo ATM card, tilting it back and forth, watching the hologram move. On the next dimension up, you're at the store looking at your card and the hologram, but in the hologram, it's you at Walmart looking at your Wells Fargo card. If people can understand that, that's how it is. And the way time dilation works is different. The time is not passing in the same way. So it almost looks like we're compressed. You know, it's just different levels of a hologram. We look compressed like a computer file more, and time just goes by so slow, so they can kind of see what's going to happen, where we're headed years in advance, you know, like, okay, they're kind of headed this way, but it's just going to take a long, long time. Kind of like how the earth just spins like really, really slow, you know? So it takes a long time for like causality to work down here compared to how it's working on the next, you know, the next levels up. And that's basically the biggest difference, is how we experience time. And what that guy said about evil being here, because we allow it to stay. Yeah, that is, I think that in the Bible is kind of like allegorized in the story of Job. I said Job, I can't remember. But yeah, basically what it is humanity is interfacing with this Lucifer matrix in and of our own free will. Anyway, the majority of humanity, over 51%. So that's why it's allowed to stay. If everyone just decided like, no, we don't want this anymore, then other forces would have to intervene, because it would be totally going against the free will nature of the way the whole construct is created. So right now we still have free will. In and of our own free will, we're accepting all the bullshit, all the rigged sports, all the just rigged everything, news, everything. We're accepting that. So if everybody were to say no, you know, that then our collective consciousness would be putting a totally different energy into the morphogenic field, and the two things would clash, and something would have to give, you know. So but the way they are controlling, like, we're creating this reality, co-creating it anyway, like in real time. So if everybody's okay with it, then that's the way it's going to go. And it can't like go another way, you know. So the only way we can create like some type of crescendo moment, or, you know, whatever, is if the collective changes. The frequency of the collective has to change in order to combat that negative frequency that they're putting out. And then it will kind of act like, you know, the Rice machine, where you put in a frequency equal and opposite, and it cancels it out. So that's kind of like what's going on. That caller is right. So yeah, while most people are part of this, like mentally, then yeah, this keeps going on, regardless of how many of the rest of people are awake and suffering. So it doesn't matter how far we wake up. I mean, you could be, you know, you could be awake to everything, but if there's not enough of us, and still 51% of the idiots are creating this hellhole that we're headed toward, then that's what's going to go down, you know. So anyway, that's, I think, my rant for the evening.
All right, well, I appreciate it. And
let me make another comment about LA. So like, what, you had 100 in New York, 100 people showed up in New York or so?
I don't even, it might have gotten close to that at one point, but yeah, I thought we'd do better, but it was probably nearing 100, the pinnacle.
I'm thinking just because size of city, LA is going to be around, you know, double that, so 200, and then plus you making it a nice 201.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Another TFR in the books.
Indeed. All right. Thanks for closing out again, DK.
Okay. We'll talk soon. Have
Yep.
a good night.
Appreciate it.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay. All right. Shout out to Mr. Futures. I see Mr. Futures comment. Another perfect night. Again, Mr. Futures, definitely one of the best students of the work, especially when it comes to the sports decodes. So, yeah, the Nets winning streak got snapped at 12 games on the 12-date numerology versus the 12-team, the Bulls. Interesting. So, if the Lakers end up winning tonight, they're going to get their 17th win of the season versus the team that they got their 17th NBA championship against. We'll see. That game's not over, but that's how they do it. Shout out to Ryan. Ryan on the Cash App getting extra generous. I appreciate it, Ryan. Let's see. He left a message. He's got quite the avatar. He says, Missouri is the only state to Fed Res Bank. Federal Reserve Bank. Only state. What is it about Missouri and the Federal Reserve? This is new information to me. Did anybody else know about this? Here, let me see what he's trying to communicate. You can only write so many things in a Cash App message. It's funny that they don't... Cash App is so bad for communicating. It's like... let's see. Missouri Federal Reserve. The St. Louis Fed is central to the nation's economy. It's part of the Federal Reserve System, which includes 12 Federal Reserve banks. Oh, Missouri has that because he had the number 2 in there. That's what he's saying. Missouri has 2 Federal Reserve banks, Kansas City and St. Louis. Okay, it was based on decisions made in 1914. Okay, back then a lot more of the still a lot of the population on the East Coast. It just spread further west as time's gone on, but Missouri's kind of central in the U.S. Missouri has that gematria 42, like Jesuit and Freemason. Let me look at the gematria of Missouri real quick. I did not know that Missouri is the only state with 2 Federal Reserve banks. That is interesting. Kansas City and St. Louis. And St. Louis is Jesuit town. 1, 2, 3, 42, 93, 57. I have to look more into that. New information to me. So. All right, you guys. Well, it's a little after 9:30 out here, and got to get up early tomorrow. We got to make. Oh, if anyone sent me anything to my P.O. box, sorry, I have not checked it for over 6 weeks. I meant to check it the other week, but like I told you, I got caught up in the conversation. Didn't even make it to the post office before it closed. But I'm gonna check my P.O. box tomorrow. We got to get up early. Sweet lady's got a dental appointment back in Yakima early in the morning, so. Got a little road trip in the morning. I'll stop by the P.O. box and get to spend a day in old Yakima. Maybe I'll post up at the... well, I got to find some place that has a... Anyway. Got to get up early tomorrow, so got to get to bed. And if anyone did send me anything to the P.O. box, I will get it tomorrow. So thank you in advance. And I'll probably do a little live stream. I got to hang around Yakima tomorrow because Sweet Lady's got to run a few appointments too, but... Anyway, we'll catch up tomorrow. Have a great rest of your evening, your day, and remember to get enough sleep. Stay healthy that way. Hold on, before I get off, what do you mean? Don't those numbers look like Bills and Hamlin numbers? What are you talking about, the Missouri numbers? I'm not sure what numbers you're talking about, but you're welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for putting up with my angry rants. But I just get so sick of morons, especially trolls just writing the same shit over and over. And especially if you're not a troll, then you've picked up on the language of the trolls. It's just like the information I put out for sports is very clear, unless your IQ is in the range where you shouldn't even be gambling because you probably don't even know how to read the sports betting slip. So it's just like, my God, man. You know, there are a lot of people who should not be gambling. You know, gambling is for intelligent people. If you can't read my sports notes, you should not be gambling. I'll tell you that much. Thank you again, Gina. You're a very generous person. I imagine those are those snowflakes or fireworks? By the way, speaking of snowflakes, we got some snow out here during the show. I think you can see it. That white through the glass is the snow, but anyway. That was Hamlin's 14th NFL game. Here, hold on, let me check that one out before we sign off here. Let me check that one out. Damar Hamlin, career stats. Well, it was his 29th game of his career. It was his 13th start. He made the tackle on the 13-yard reception that ended the game. Football, 29. Hold on, though. Is Hart in reverse 29? Joe Burrow's 52nd yards of passing ended in hitting the guy born on the 83rd day of the year in his 29th NFL game. The whole thing ended up in his heart, having to be jump-started 2 times, so they tell us. So, and again, don't forget his name overlaps with heart chakra and all ciphers. Well, Brownlee, the strategy with the basketball is, it's obvious when a game is heavily weighted one way. And those are the point I'm trying to make is, that's the game that you probably want to invest in. And as we know, when those games are heavily weighted, a lot more often than not, they're coming through. And the games that are evenly split, again, I couldn't write out a sentence, but it's self-explanatory. And I'm also trying to get you guys to use your brains to see what I'm looking at to make your decisions. And also for those of you guys who have your own brains, you're going to start to realize the same types of things like the date numerology smashing right now. Notice the date numerology riddles are hitting day after day. If you're betting and paying attention, you should be like, man, those date numerology riddles are smashing. Just like how, again, the Nets winning streak ends at 12 on the 12 date numerology against the 12 team, the Bulls. So, anyway, thanks again. Thank you, Plain Decoded. Plain Decoded, keep up the good work on the astrology. Another YouTube channel to sub. And shout out to the Shark. Be well in New York, Shark. Appreciate you staying up late. The city that truly never sleeps. And again, I will let you guys know on New York, but New York later, but I mean LA. I'll let you know on LA. Am I going to be there for the Kobe anniversary? All the things that I'm thinking of. Kobe anniversary, Super Bowl. Now, Will says, be in DC on April 7th. I like that idea too. But yeah, again, just the problem is the more I went out, the more support fell off. And I could have never predicted that. And I'm just going, why is this happening? Trying to build the movement, not go backwards. So, okay. Tried to click on Mr. Future's link, but it didn't work. All right, guys, Mr. Futures, check out his channel, Mr. Futures. Doing very great work in the sports community. All right, you guys. Have a great rest of your day or evening, and I'll be back tomorrow. And until next time.